Welcome, guys. Today I'm joined with Seth Epley, who just crossed the finish line at the Moab 240, which 240 stands for 240 miles of straight running. Was that 4 days long?
Yep.
So
It was a while.
we're gonna be deep diving into your story of Moab. We're gonna go doing everything from the beginning to the end. I am your host, Miguel Mendoza. And let's dive into it. But first, I kind of want to start with like the beginning of everything. So I've known you kind of since you were in high school, maybe a little bit before, and you were not an endurance athlete back in the day. So
No, not at all.
What was the pivot point in your life where you were like, I want to lace up some shoes and start just running, and then your first marathon, tackle that, and next thing you know, you're at a 240 Moab. Like what was going on?
Yeah, dude. So, and it's crazy how connected like the Moab race was to the beginning, because, I mean, my story, how I got into running, when I was like, I feel like the only right way to get into this is talking about my story a little bit ahead of that. So when I was like 12 years old, started drinking, and I feel like all the way up till I was like 18, kind of just got out of hand. I was at the point where I was in 7th grade, and before I would get on the school bus, I would drink a mixture of vodka and Diet 7-Up.
Oh, wow.
So I was kind of off the chain, and once I got like 18, got in trouble a couple of times, and then I went out to Midland, Texas, worked in the oil field for a couple of years, and that only got increased with my supervisor, my managers. Mm-hmm. And at some point, I left that company, left Midland, Texas, and I wasn't working. I had like savings, and I just wasn't working. And I just knew that I needed like a lifestyle change, like 100%. And that's when eventually I first heard about David Goggins, like Luke, my older brother. He's like, this guy ran 100 miles and he was peeing blood and kept going. And I was like, what? And then after that, I just was listening to other podcasts, and it was Courtney DeWalter on Joe Rogan. And he basically introduced her, said like she won this race called the Moab 240 by like over 10 hours. And this is when I just like was starting to get into running. Like I would go to Chisholm Trail in Belton.
All right.
And I would just like run a couple of loops. I didn't even know how far a mile really was. But I felt way better when I'd run. And eventually when I'd ran, I felt better. Didn't really need to drink. That's kind of like where it changed for me. And I listened to Can't Hurt Me, the audiobook by David Goggins as well. And knew that he ran the Moab 240 as well. But I haven't even ran like an official 5K yet.
So you were just like inspired by David Goggins. You heard his story, and you just it wasn't in the grasp yet, but you knew something was kind of like in the back of your head, like one day, like, why not me kind of deal.
Yeah, like it sounded like I was like, that's impossible. But to me, they were legends. Him, Courtney DeWalter, Cameron Haynes. I was like, this legendary race. Like I could never do that, because then I'd ran 10 miles. But eventually, I signed up for a 50-miler in my first marathon. And then I just kept going from there. But while I started running, I got completely sober, and it was a great lifestyle change for me. But that's how it got in, or started rolling.
Yeah, because that's how I remember you I'll say as a kid. We were kids. That's how I remember. Like I was friends with your older brother. Me and him were really good friends. We still talk every day. And I just remember seeing you, and I was like, I really don't mess with this kid over here. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was like, he's just doing his own thing, his own world. He's kind of a trouble kid. I was like, you know what? I don't know. I'm kind of going to stay away from him a little bit, because, I just don't feel like he's in the right headspace a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward multiple years, probably close to maybe even 10 years, maybe like 7 years, fast forward. You actually inspired me. So this is really cool that I get to interview you. Because you inspired me, because I was on Facebook, and I was just scrolling through, and I saw a video, Luke's younger brother, Seth, and he's doing a marathon on a treadmill at a gym. And I'm like, what is this dude on? Like, so it goes from seeing this kid being a bad kid to this young man running like a marathon on a treadmill, like I was just like, what is going on over here? So I was like, let me kind of figure out what's going on here because I'm very interested. Like, how do you even decide that you want to do a marathon on a treadmill? Because to me, a marathon is like a whole challenge by itself, and you're just like, I'm just gonna do it on a treadmill, whatever. So yeah, you definitely inspired me, and I think it kind of fell into like you've inspired a lot of my friends and inspired a lot of our group, and now we're all running together. So like just seeing you accomplish your goals and being in the passenger seat has been just amazing to watch you do what you had to do. But I want to kind of dive into like the Moab kind of deal. But actually, so you said that running kind of just like changed your life. Like it got you sober. You don't drink anymore, right?
No,
You don't drink anymore. Is that like because of mentally, or you just want to be like physically fit so you're not drinking, or is it just like you think alcohol was kind of put you in a bad headspace, and to be the person you want to be, just like that's not your life?
Yeah, dude. So, I mean, since it was like alcohol just had total control over my life. And then once I mean, I would work out with Luke and JW, both my brothers, like growing up, but that never really like got me like to that point where I was like, oh, I feel good. Like it didn't really like give me that fix really. But when I ran it, like I felt good. I felt like strong and more confident. And I was like, it like opened up my eyes to another world, like that I didn't know was possible. Like
Right.
the first time in my life, I felt proud of myself and accomplished. And I was like, and then like, one night I actually was offered a drink and I had ran like 10 miles that day. And I was like, I'm good, like for the first time ever. And I felt good just in my own skin.
Yep.
And that's when that really started. But it literally opened my eyes to another world.
So how many years have you been sober?
About, I would say like probably like 4, a little over 4-ish.
4 years. And
'Cause,
that's
like,
kind of the start of when you started running as well, 4 years ago, or you started before that?
My first marathon was in 2020. So that gives you a good time range. But like this was a process because I started running a little bit, and then over like 6 months, I was still like as I was getting into it, drinking a little bit, smoking. Like I'd fall back into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's young man, it's just normal.
Yeah.
So you ran your first marathon, and then what was the progression of like, I want to get into ultra running, or how does that go? Because as you know, I'm signed up for a marathon, my first one in February, and Seth was actually my pacer for my half marathon. So you've been there like a whole journey. So it's been really cool. Appreciate you, but like I just want to know, like, how did you feel like after your first marathon? Because that's like, even a marathon is still a huge accomplishment. Like it's not a Moab 240, right? But like as someone that's getting into it and doing their first baby steps, to a lot of people still, marathon's like a whole big ass deal. So how did you feel after? And then what made you like, I want to keep going 50, 100 miles? Like what races have you done past the marathon?
Yeah, so little backstory, like that same time, like I was offered that drink, and like, I was like, okay, I'm done, and I kind of knew it. We were in Minnesota, like where my mom's side of the family has like this little lake cabin, and around the lake is 23 miles. But that's where like my uncle Andy, he allowed me to stay in his cabin for a little bit, and he's like, do you? And that, like, I'm so grateful that he did that, because like that gave me the time like to just chill out, relax, and then like just do my thing.
Right.
But one day I was like, as I was progressing, I was like, I'm gonna try to run around this lake that was 23 miles. I get to mile 16 and I'm like cramping up, and I give my Uncle Andy a call, and I'm like, because my phone's on 1%.
Oh, damn.
And I was walking back, I had like 5 miles to walk, and I was like, Uncle Andy, like, I'm sorry, I tried to run around the lake, but I'm not gonna make it. And he's like, well, Seth, I already had a beer. Why didn't you tell me this earlier? And I'm like, sorry, man. He's like, yeah, I'll come get you. But then I ran around that lake. Like I tried again a week later or something. I made it. So after that, I felt so good. I was so motivated. I signed up for a 50 miler before I signed up for a marathon.
So your marathon wasn't like an official race. It was just around that lake?
No, it was. But I signed up for a 50 miler first. And then I was like, I just was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it because I couldn't imagine it, but I just signed up for it. But I did do the official marathon. So like I was already thinking about ultras before I did my first marathon.
Before you even, okay.
But during that marathon, I was like, oh my God, maybe I should cancel that race. And so I really considered canceling it, but I just didn't. And then I did that 50 miler was the Cactus Rose in Bandera, Texas. And I remember I did my first 25-mile loop. My legs were shredded. And my brother JW was there, and I just looked at him, and I was like, I was in the pain cave, 100%. And you're there with your family and the crew. You're like, I should probably just like quit, you know?
Yeah.
And then I thought about Goggins and Cameron Haynes. I just kept moving. But that was my first 50-mile race. That gave me like some hope for sure. And I did a couple 50 milers, and then I was like, I'm gonna try 100. Like, I just decided to keep pushing my limits, even though I knew how hard those were.
So what makes you want to keep pushing those limits? Like each one of these is a monumental feat. Like a marathon, a 50 mile, like it's crazy, bro. Like you're tackling these big monumental feats, and you're just like, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. So kind of like what's after the 240 Moab? You like what do you even keep going after that? Have you thought about that?
I have, man. I mean, I'm not sure yet, cause like that was like the big race. That was like the big one that was like almost impossible. I don't know. I want to do something ambitious though. I want to do like a really fast 100 is what I'm thinking. Like go for a fast time, but I like have not committed to that yet, you know? Like, hey, I just finished Moab this month, bro.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say nothing too crazy on camera because then everybody's going to hold me accountable, bro. But that's what's been in the back of my head, really fast 100.
So before we get like into the Moab, there's one question is like, as a new runner as myself, like that's bigger, and like when I first started, half marathon was like, that was monumental to me. So like that was my cap that I put on my, you know, like that was my cap on myself. But it wasn't an easy thing at all. Like I trained for like a 5K. I trained for a 1 mile. Like I couldn't even run a mile. And so running was never easy at the journey at all. Like at the start, anything, like it's still every fucking step hurts.
Yeah.
So did you ever lace up and was like, I'm actually pretty good at this, or this isn't as bad as I thought, or like this is something I can actually do long term? Like some people just do things and it's just easy for them. Did you ever feel that way, or is it still fucking sucks, but you just endure the pain and keep going?
I mean, now I put in the reps to where I'll say it's easier, but it was never easy. Like when I was building that pattern, it was like hell. You know what I mean? Like when I was running at the lake and I was forcing myself to run every single day. Like I remember when I had to go out for this 10-mile run, because I told myself, I'm going to hold you accountable.
Right.
The voices.
The voice.
The voices, bro. I said, I'm going to hold you accountable, bro. And I said, I'm going to run today. And then, you know, you get in that zone, just let time pass. Maybe I won't do it subconsciously or something. And it was like 11 p.m., lacing up the shoes. And then I went to go run 10 miles with a hurt ankle. Because I was like, I want to change my life.
So you had a hurt ankle at this time?
Yeah, no, I hurt because I was ramping up my running, and I was like, I'm going to run every day no matter what. Because I wanted to be sober. Like, I wanted to be free, bro. And so, no, it was dreadful. Like, I did not want to do it. Like, I was like, this sounds horrible. But I knew that afterwards, I would feel better. Like, I would feel confident. And I'd rather be free, go through hell, than to surrender, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it felt. Like, it was like fight or flight kind of, but it sucked. It completely sucked.
So, so that's good. That's good for everyone. That's like, if it sucks, it's okay. You can still do some great things.
Yeah, and I mean, as I've trained, like my body has recovered faster. I've built my base, you know. I would say, I mean, to like qualify for Boston, it was not extremely hard, but I had to build that machine. You know what I mean?
Wasn't extremely hard. Was the qualifying time like 2 hours and 50 minutes or something?
Yeah, the first one I literally did 2 hours, 59 minutes, 35 seconds because you got to do sub 3.
And what's the pace on that? What do you?
It's gonna be like, it used to be like 650, so that was 652.
So
But
you're doing a 650 pace for 26 miles?
but this last one I did 625, like, you know, 2-3 years later.
That's insane, dude.
Thanks, man.
That's insane. I'll be happy if I had a 7:30 one single mile. Like you know what I mean? Like doing a 6:20, 26 miles, it's absolutely insane. Like when I started seeing you do these, and I started seeing you do like with times and getting these ridiculous crazy times, and just seeing you do your runs, were you ever thinking about like doing this as a career, like like go to college and run like cross country or run 5Ks for the Olympics or anything like that? Because like it's pretty impressive times. Like if you actually do some training, you could potentially do that, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah, no.
that ever cross your mind? Because don't you have a cousin that's an Olympian, right?
Yeah. So I definitely thought, I mean, it's definitely crossed my mind. But honestly, at the end of the day, just proud to have that time. Because like, even though like a 6:25 pace for a marathon, I'm super proud of. It's people doing it under 5-minute pace, you know? And it's like and they might get paid $50K a year or something like that. I mean, I'm not sure how much they all get paid, but
Right.
that is, I mean, compared to them, I'm slow. So like there's some true beasts out there. But like you said, if I did that training, it's possible. I definitely think it's possible. But I don't know like if I'd be willing to commit to that training.
Yeah.
Because also I love ultra running just for what it is, and just proud to like finish those long distances. So I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna take it to that level.
Yeah.
But maybe with this next Fast 100 or something. But like I've considered it, but I haven't taken my training to that level.
I could see like doing like what David Goggins does now, where he just goes around and gives like motivational speeches and like, you know, people that are down and about, like if you're drinking and stuff, trying to, you know, pull these people out, find themselves whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be something that you'd be really great at.
Yeah, I gotta work on my speech a little bit. But
That's one thing I noticed about you is you are very good on camera and you're very good at speaking with people. And like the first 5K I did, you hosted the event with the company that you're with, and then you weren't afraid of anything. There was like 100 people there or whatever, and you had your microphone or whatever you damn call it, the
megaphone.
the megaphone, and you were doing your thing, and I was like, dude, this guy's like in his like element, you know what I mean? So it was really cool to see. But yeah, you like off the bat, I was like, dude, this guy's a natural at this stuff, you know?
Yeah, and just to say it, dude, like before doing that, I'm anxious and I'm like scared, bro. It's crazy. It's like fight or flight in that moment too. I'm like, but like I gotta do it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, but I'm definitely like anxious and nervous about it. But I just go in there, man, and do my thing. But thank you for that, dude.
Yeah, man.
And also, man, I was so proud. I mean, and it was crazy how like our relationship like reignited, because I was working at this store in Fleet Feet, Round Rock. And then like one day you came in for like some inserts or something like that. Yeah. You're like, yeah, bro, I'm thinking of running. And you know, I might hear that from a lot of people.
Right.
But you came back and you were like serious about it.
Yeah.
And then to see you like do that half marathon and like execute on it, dude. Like I just was like, I was proud, dude. And I don't know, like you surprised me, man. But I thought that was so awesome because you weren't playing around.
I think that's what, like, I don't know. It's just I see a lot of things about law of attraction and like-minded people, and like just seeing you do your thing and like seeing you do crazy shit. I'm like, dude, I want to be on that level. I want to push myself to that level. I want to find out what's on the other side. I want to know what I'm capable of doing because I just felt like I was stuck in life. You know what I mean? I was just going to work, come home, drink on the weekends, and repeat. You know, and it's just like I was always doing sports in middle school and high school, and like, you know, now I'm just kind of just like in this still water kind of deal. And so like seeing you do that and having you kind of be like the foot in the door and having like a mentor that is doing crazy shit, but that's also like my friend. So it's like, hey man, you're excelling in this area, and like I'm trying to figure out what's behind that door. Yeah. So that's kind of where I was at. Was like, this is the perfect opportunity. Like, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to prep for this stuff because he's done it. So he knows what the hell he's talking about. Like, if I want to go get running shoes, yes, I can do my own research, but like this motherfucker literally sells running shoes. So like, you know what I mean? Like, he can hook me up. So he knows how, like, all of your advice, pen and paper, I'm writing down. Like, what do I need to do to get my first 5K? Like, what do I need to do to get my first 10K? You know, the half marathon, what kind of prep, what kind of gels, what kind of, you know what I mean? So it's like just having you as my Google is fucking amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so that's prepping. So I kind of want to like dive into like the Moab a little bit. I kind of want to start with like the GoFundMe. So you started a GoFundMe and you kind of just put it out there and was like, hey man, y'all seen me do some ultras. I want to do this Moab 240. This is my goal. You know, here's the GoFundMe. If you want to help out, that's on you, but everything can help, right? So how does it feel? How did it feel whenever you saw like the amount of support, the amount of friends and family that all were rooting for you, pitched in, all the advice, the love that you got? Like, how did that make you feel?
I was honestly shocked. And like, look, I created it and then I kind of like let it sit. I didn't really like post about it.
Right.
And then it was like a couple of weeks and then my brother and his girlfriend, like, they like brought it up. And they donated, and then I just like, oh, I'm gonna post. Like, okay, I'm gonna make a post. And then once I posted, everybody, like, so many people started donating. I was just like, damn, dude, like, I can't believe this amount of people want to support me, like, to go run. Especially when there's like, you know, people with no water right now. Like, they're gonna support me to go run in Utah. Right. So I definitely felt special, bro, and appreciative. And just grateful, dude. I like was completely shocked. And to actually hit over $3,000.
Was that your goal? So like would you say to go run this race, it's around 3K for everything?
Yeah, dude. I think, so it was like $2,000. So I got like, you know, a hoodie and a couple shirts like with the registration, and that ended up being $2K.
Just to run this race, $2,000. Yep. That's insane.
Yeah, I know. Bro, I was like, bro, I used my credit card, bro. I didn't really have that money. Like, I was working, you know. Yeah. Working at Fleet Feet and just like paying an apartment, bro. I didn't have that money. So yeah, that's insane. But I don't know. I guess a lot goes into it, but yeah, everybody supported. And on top of that, you know, I rented that U-Haul with the miles, hotel rooms, food on the go, all like the equipment, had to buy trekking poles, like all that stuff. So like, couldn't have done it without y'all. If y'all donated, thank you. Thank you. You donated.
I donated.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
bro.
Man.
I was shocked. And also A6, my friend Chris Anton from A6, he boosted that GoFundMe by donating 3 pairs of shoes to the top 2 donors and a random donor as well. So that just elevated the post. And so shout out to Chris and A6, and me and Miguel both running these bad boys. Yeah. And also during the race, I ran one pair of shoes, the Trabuco Max 3, and it took me all the way through it. I don't know if you want to dive into that right now.
Yeah, we can get in there. We can get in there. So let's start with the U-Haul. Let's start. getting into it like the week before. How do you even train for that in like Austin, Texas? Because Utah is like you're going up. What, you went up 2 mountains, right? So like,
Yeah.
how do you even start to begin to train for that?
So I mean, I threw a 100-miler on the calendar. The Grasslands 100, but that has 2,000 feet of elevation gain, so you know it's not much. And then what else? What else did I do? I didn't do any other big races. And really, I just was like, I need volume. I need a lot of miles. Mm-hmm. So I did my biggest training week. I did 145 miles in 1 week.
Damn.
But that was like working and also driving an hour to work and back. So some days I get up at like 3:30, drive to the trail, log 17 miles, drive home, shower, drive to work an hour, run the rest of the miles, and then drive home. So
how much sleep are you getting on that?
During that week, bro, it was bad.
That sounds terrible.
It might have like on a good night. I mean, it's probably getting like 4 or so. Like on a like it wasn't good. But like I was like, it's good though, like for training, because like
yeah, because you're gonna be running with no sleep anyway during Moab, so you're like, okay.
And that wasn't all like trail miles, because I just had to get it in. Yeah. I just was like, I'm gonna run from the store. I don't have any time. Like I gotta go to bed. And then the 70-mile, I did a 70-mile training run, the longest training run I've done to date at Lake Georgetown. And I had my friend Travis, Justin, my brothers JW and Luke. Kanan came out there, and they all like paced me on that run. Nick Pedersen too. That dude's a beast.
What run did you do on whenever we did when you paced me for the half marathon? You ran a half marathon before 7 a.m. to pace me for my half marathon. So you already did a marathon, and then you went out and ran like another 50 miles after that or something?
Yeah, dude.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, like
everyone's like, what the hell is this? I had my family calling me. They're like, hey, you know that guy, your friend that you ran with? I'm watching him on the side of the road, like running after your event. Like, what's going on here?
Is he okay though? Yeah, dude. No, because I was like, dude, like I have to get this 70-mile run in, but I also committed to pacing you. And so I was like, I got to figure it out. So I said, I'm going to run from Lake Georgetown to your half marathon, pace you, and then run back and continue. So, and it's just crazy because that was a long day. Like, it was an eventful day, bro.
And then I remember your ankle was hurting or your foot was hurting.
Yeah. I think it was my right ankle. Like, I didn't roll it real bad or anything, but like, by mile 55, it was hurting really bad, and I was like wobbling. And at like mile 60, Travis, he's like, you know, is this really purposeful? He's like, you know, because you might be overdoing it before the big race. And He completely had a point. And I was just like, I said, I'm gonna do it, you know, like, and I'm like I felt like it was just like such a testament to Moab, because that's such a hard race. Like, I felt like I had to do whatever it takes to finish a 70-mile run, which isn't even half of that race.
So does that mentally kind of mess you up confidence-wise, where like this is not even half the race. This is like a quarter of the race, right? And your ankle is hurting. You didn't roll it or anything, but it's already hurting just from repetitiveness. So like, does that mess you up, or like, fuck, like, is my body going to be able to hold up 240 miles and it's already given out mile 60? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Does that mess you up, or you're like, we're just going to tape it up and be fine?
Dude, I mean, it's just like, you know, it's in there, whether I like it or not. And dude, on top of that, like Spencer paced me, my friend Spencer with Carhu, he paced me. We got to mile almost like 45, bro, of my training run. And I started cramping and puking.
Damn.
And I literally got to the point where I was walking up this hill. It started locking up so bad, I had to lay down on my back, and he had to run to go get electrolytes. Like, I'm out 45 of my training run. So that and the ankle, like, I was like, bro, like, but I finished the 70-mile run. So that's where I was like, hey, that was a bad run, but I finished no matter what.
Okay.
So that part is what was like, but I kept going. I didn't quit. So I felt like that was like the equalizer. But absolutely, it was alarming. It was not a good thought. But that balanced it out. The fact that I didn't quit.
So that's like my biggest when I have friends that are new, like I'm getting them new into running, right? They're seeing me and you run. They're seeing what's going on, and they're like, they want to jump on the wave. And they ask me like, some advice and stuff, and I just tell them like the number one advice that I have for them is basically what you keep on repeating is self accountability. Like if you say you got a 10-mile run on Saturday, no matter what, you get that 10-mile run in.
Yeah.
And that just like it builds that confidence up of like it might be raining, you might be tired, you might have stomach cramps or whatever, like no matter what, you got to be self accountable for yourself. And that's what I made up with my own like testament, and and like to hear you saying that and just like I'm just like, okay, I'm on the same I'm on something here,
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Because like, and we love the thought of it too, like it sounds awesome, but once you're sitting there, it's raining outside, or it's time to do it, the demons come in, bro. They're like, they want you to stay inside and not win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the devil's there and it doesn't want you to accomplish it. And so when you overcome it and you get back inside and you're like, I did it, it's like, I don't know, euphoria. It just feels so good that you overcame it. It's like it's such a big win. Yeah. And that's why like every day, just running in the morning, you get that win, you're going to feel so much better going into your day because it takes courage and it's like you overcame something that like was tough.
Yeah, I mean, I read this book and it's called Make Your Bed Every Day, or Make Your Bed. And that whole lesson is make your bed in the morning.
Yeah.
Because what it does, it makes you realize that you've completed a task to start your day. So your day's already winning. The first thing you've done out of bed, boom, you won.
Yep.
And I remember asking you once, I was like, hey man, because I'm not a big morning person. I mean, I'll get up and I'll run. I'll do it, but I don't like to.
Yeah.
I don't know who likes to, but you know what I mean? Like it's just, it sucks to me. But I was like trying to figure out how to get these miles in, either after work or before work. And I asked you, I said, hey, is it better to run in the morning, or is it the same thing if I just go run like at 11 p.m. and like get the same amount of sleep, but I'm not waking up in the morning? And then you told me that what you're saying now is, well, if you knock it out in the morning, your day's just better because you've accomplished your run. And that one hit me. I was like, that makes all the sense. I don't know why I didn't come up with that, but that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, dude. And it's like the run itself is a win, but getting up and conquering that morning run, it's like, yeah, it's going to be even better.
Gotcha. So, all right. So let's get into the big race. Okay. So you got the U-Haul. You're in Austin, Texas. You have to drive to Utah. Do you have a team that's going to meet you in Utah? Do you have a team that's driving with you? Who's going on this road trip with you? Are you by yourself?
Yeah. So initially the plan was I had like 3 other pacers line up, which, about a couple weeks ahead or so, they couldn't go. Some of them were like, I might be able to make it. A couple of them were like, I'll be able to make it, and then they couldn't, which they had their reasons. So the plan was mom, dad, that's my crew. And what we did is we drove to Grand Junction about 17 hours from Texas to get that U-Haul to save money on the mileage because they charge you per mile.
Okay.
And because that's like an hour and a half from Utah. So we drove up there to get that U-Haul and then drove the hour and a half to Moab, a few days in advance. And then I had Spencer and his wife, Katie, to pace me on 2 sections. And the plan was they were going to pace me at like these certain sections, and Spencer was supposed to be with me for 30 miles. But the plan A, the ideal race pace, didn't happen. So they had to adapt and jump in at different sections. But that was the plan going into it.
So who is Spencer and Katie? Are they also ultra runners, or how did you meet them?
Hey, Spencer technically is an ultra runner. He's done a 50K. I met him at Fleet Feet. since I, used to work on the sales floor. We sold a brand called Karhu from Finland, and I met him that way. He came in the store, and we just hit it off, dude. He was super cool, and we went to go get some miles in, and he was just, as soon as I told him about Moab, he just was down. He was like, "I'm coming, bro." And, I was like, "All right, bro, like, it's a big commitment." But he,
Right.
like, never let up. He's like, "I'm coming." And then once he figured out that my other pacers dropped, his wife Katie was already considering pacing me. So that's when she decided to jump in.
She's also an ultra runner?
Oh, yeah, sorry. She used to run. She's done marathons. She's done a few marathons, but she's not an ultra runner.
Okay.
So, yeah, dude, she decided to jump in, and I was like, thank God. So they were like superheroes, man, to come out there and pace me.
Shout out them, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah, dude.
So how does that work as a pacer for Moab? Do they have to register anything, or are they dedicated pacers? Like, how does that work?
So they have to carry the same required gear that the runners have to, which is like a headlight, a spare battery, tights. You have to have a GPX map of the course. You have to have like tights, and like what else did I have to have? Yeah, I don't remember. A couple other things though, but you're carrying like beanies and gloves and stuff anyways, and chargers. So they had to carry all of that, and they had to just register like their name, email, phone number, all that stuff. But that's pretty much the only requirements, man. But they did have to like register and use that bib, but that was about it. Can't mule for you. They can't carry anything. Can't give you nothing.
They can't. Can they hold you or anything up, or can they touch you?
Yeah,
No.
well, I was gonna give Spencer a hug when I came in and saw him. He's like, "Nah, bro." I was like, "Bro, it was a long night, bro. I just wanted a hug." But he's like, "No, I can't touch you, bro." I was like, "All right."
Cool. So one thing that I was wanting to get into is like maybe like the day before or something. I'm like, for me, I got the marathon happening, and like I'm nervous about like the day before or the weekend of. Like there's people are telling me there's shakeout runs, there's this expo center or something, you go out and vendors, and like you do, like there's just a lot going on that I've never experienced. So it's like, were you feeling nervous going into the race? Like, was there big events, a lot of like maybe people that you've looked up to that are running alongside you or anything? Like what was going on through your head leading up to actually the finish, the start line?
Really, dude, just like driving into Moab, Utah, like when the terrain changes and you're just like looking at these big mountains, you're like, and the altitude is high, you're just like, I'm from Texas, bro. I'm from Austin, Texas. What am I doing out here? And I mean, the nerves, bro, really just weren't there like that. Like I've done a lot of ultras, but like it wasn't, like I wasn't like full of adrenaline and super excited or anything. Like I was really just chilling. But when I went to packet pickup, I met like, Andy Glaze, beast runner. I also saw
Andy Glaze. I follow him. I look at a lot of his stuff, and he did not finish, right? He was saying he almost like nearly died out there.
Yeah, dude. We shared some miles, dude. He was super chill.
All right, y'all. We're almost about mile 12. Doing a little bit of climbing out here in Moab. What you think, Andy? Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get it.
Like just the first stretch, and yeah, he must have been hurting really bad because like he's completed big races. He's a beast, and like I heard the same thing. I didn't see him when he was hurting, but I guess he was like peeing blood and had to call it. But
insane.
they said it was like I think it was the hottest Moab to date, but definitely one of the hottest. It was hot.
Damn.
Yeah.
What was the temp out there?
Someone said it was over 100, but I don't think that was true. I believe it was like 90. But I'm not sure. I need to get fact checked.
Do you know if anyone has ever died during this race?
No, I don't.
Because I know like people died like doing marathons, right? Like sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like Moab would be like.
Yeah.
Could be.
And it hasn't been around that long.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was created after Stephen Jones, a dude that died in 2016 in an avalanche, and he wanted a 200-mile race with a loop in Moab. So that's how it started. But yeah, I'm not sure, dude.
So that's actually pretty damn.
Kind of went off track there, but
No,
whatever.
you're good. I didn't know it was such a new race.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. Like the first year was like 2018 or something like
That's
that.
insane because you hear like David Goggins doing this, and like this man's like 47 or 50,
Yeah.
like nearly 50, and he's like doing Moab, and so he's like kind of older guy.
Yeah, dude. I was like, yeah, no, I didn't really know that either. When Candace, the race director, was giving her speech, I was like, oh wow, like this is newer than I thought. And yeah, like it just blew up when I feel like Joe Rogan had that podcast with Courtney DeWalter, and then of course all the other influencers. So it's crazy, like it's crazy, dude.
So you're there. You don't really feel nervous. I mean, I guess it hasn't hit you, right? It hasn't hit you yet, but let's say leading up to it, you got all your gear on.
Yeah.
You're checked in. Race is about to start. How are you mentally preparing to pace 240 miles? Like, how does that even, how do you fathom that, you know?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I know like through like 100-milers, like it's like when it gets tough, and you push through, bro. And like I just keep it simple, man. But I just was like, I'm not gonna take off super fast. I'm gonna keep a chill pace. The first 2 miles was still in Moab, like on the cement, and then you go up into the mountains.
So what was your pace for the first 2 miles then?
It was faster than I should have. I mean, it wasn't crazy. It was like, I think I did like 1 mile, like 8:30 pace or something like that.
Started out at 8:30, bro.
Yeah. and then like, I was hiking up once I got to the mountain, or not like mountain, but like it's a mountain to Austin, I would say. Because you're already climbing like a couple thousand feet in that first stretch, or first 2 stretches. But yeah, I just was like, I'm gonna hike up. Anything runnable, I'm gonna just jog it out, and I'm not gonna overdo it.
Got you. So your mom and dad's there, so you're taking off. Mm-hmm. What's like what are the aid stations blocked off on? Like, is it every 15 miles or something that there's an aid station? And are they meeting you at every aid station, or how does team work out there?
Yeah, so some of them have crew access. The first time they had access was at like mile 18, I believe. So you do 8 miles, there's an aid station there. It's funny because like at first it's like the shortest ones, and at the end is longer. It was like 8.5 miles, ate like a turkey wrap and like some watermelon. And then the next one was like basically like another 8.5. So I saw my crew at like 17.5 there. But after that, it started stretching out like crazy. After 17, that's when like the race to me kind of like really started.
Okay.
Because then
It wasn't crazy. It wasn't crazy for 17 miles. It was kind of like, I mean, you've been there, done that. You feel like you got that 17 miles. But then that 17 miles hits, and now you're like, okay, this is where Moab gets rough.
Because like it was like I see them there, and then I'm not gonna see them for 50 more miles after this.
Oh, so the crew checks 50 miles after that?
Yeah. So I was like, and that's why like when I got there, I grabbed like the puffy hoodie, all this stuff going into the night, because they say like Moab can get to 7 degrees. So I'm like,
what time does the race start?
It started at 12 p.m.
12 p.m. Okay,
Yeah.
so then you ran 17 miles. What time did you get the crew check?
I would say like, I believe I got there around like 3:30 or 4.
4 o'clock
Yeah.
p.m. And then you're getting ready because you have 50 miles to go.
Yep.
And obviously 50 miles in that terrain, it's going to take you some bit. So
Yeah.
you're preparing, you got your puffy jacket, because you're in the desert.
Yeah.
So it's gonna get cold. So you're like trying to figure out what you need. It's like 3:30, and it's kind of, what's the temp at 3:30? Like pretty hot.
Oh, dude, it was so hot. And actually, when I went from the first aid station to the second, like I ran out of water, and people were already like, "Oh my God, it's hot." And I think when I got to that second aid station, my parents, they were like, "Yeah, 30 people have dropped." And I swear, I think they said that.
Do you know how many people total ran it with you?
I think signed up was like around 300. I'm not sure how many dropped. I think like 80 something dropped
It's insane.
or something like that.
You spent that, dude. That's insane. You spent $2,000, and you drop on the second station.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, that's rough. I was thinking about that. I was like, that's a little early, but
So is it kind of like messing with your head a little bit, where like it's 3:30, peak sun, it's hot, and you're like, I need to get a jacket on me because I need to prepare for the cold at night.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't like convenient. But I was like, I knew I had to do it. So, but I just had my parents put it on my Solomon pack on the back, and all that other stuff. Dude, my pack, it felt like it was like 20 pounds, and I was just like, so that, yeah, it was a pain. Like, so I didn't wear it at that moment. And as I left that second aid station, like I had some shade, so I was like a little bit relieved, and then we started climbing up, got a little bit chillier, but not really after that. So yeah, it was kind of a pain to carry all that.
So what time did you get into your second check? That was it like 70 or so, 77?
Yeah, it was like 67.
67, sorry.
No, you're good. And that was like, I think I got there at like 10 a.m. the next day.
Damn. So you ran through the night. No sleep the first night.
Well, actually, I mean, a lot actually happened, dude. So when I left that aid station where I saw my crew, so I got to the next, which was base camp, and on the way there, we descended through this place called Jacob's Ladder, and it's like a trench. It goes like straight down into this canyon. It's like rocky terrain. And then I got to this base camp aid station, and dude, I ate better than I ever have. They had like eggs, bacon, and they just were like, "Here, sit down. What do you need? Let me refill, your flask for you." And I ate 2 plates of bacon and eggs, just boom, because I was like, dude, I'm hungry. And then after that, I got on my way, and as I left base camp aid station, there was like this fox, and this fox, like, it was like laying on a rock looking at me, and I was like, bro, what the heck? And the logo for Moab is a fox, so I was like, oh, it's meant to be, or something like that. And I was like, dude, do you see that? And then they're like, we feed them every night. And I was like, oh. I was like, come on, man. Like, I thought I was an animal whisperer for a second.
That's my spirit animal talking
For real,
to
bro.
me.
I was like, bro, I'm about to crush this race. And then this guy, he left the aid station with me. And we were like going up this sandy hill, and it was like small, but it was like, oh my gosh, this thing's sandy. It's hard to get up. And then he started going the wrong way. And I'm like, hey man, I'm like, this way. And he's like, oh, this way? All right. And then he just stuck with me. Like, he just started following me.
This random guy that you met?
Yeah. And then I like introduced myself, and he was from Germany, and he was like, my name's Isa. And I'm probably not even right. It was something like that. He said, my name's Isa, and I don't speak much English. And then he started following me after that. And it was like I naturally took that like as the navigator. And so when we would come up to like a Y, we didn't know where to go, I would pull up my GPX, and then I give him a thumbs up. He go, yes. And I go, yes. And then we keep going.
Does he not have a GPS as well, or is he just like, whatever you say, that's what I'm gonna do?
I think he did. He's required to have it.
He is required, right?
But
Okay.
I think after that first time when I was like, hey, we go this way, he just like naturally just followed me.
And you have your headlamp on, and you're going through the night. You have a random guy with you, and
Yep.
y'all are just, and he doesn't speak English.
Nope.
Not a lot.
Yeah, a little bit.
And so I guess that kind of helps with like not being kind of alone, but in
Yeah.
a sense, like, you can't talk to this dude at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It felt cool. I like in that moment, it felt good. Because we were just like we're just together, and he wasn't like talking my head off or nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're zoning.
Because if like, if you're like in the pain cave and someone's just talking your head off, you might be like, bro, please get away.
Now, are you wearing headphones or anything?
Not at that. Wait, no, I was wearing headphones with my Shocks. I was actually wearing the Open Swim by Shocks. Shout out to Dorothy from Shocks. But I didn't turn them on till later in the race. But me and Issa, we kept moving. We were like passing people, moving really good. He would run when I would run. And then we met up with this dude. He has an accent too. He's from Sydney, Australia.
Wow, those are some interesting characters out there.
I know.
In Utah, random ass Utah.
I know, dude. And then we were just moving. He was like, dude, I'm just not feeling good. And I told him, I was like, it's just a low, bro. I'm like, I'm going to go through it too. Like, I'm like, you just got to keep on moving.
And this is mile, what mile are y'all at that he said he's not feeling good?
So I think we're still early in the race, like 45 maybe, like 45-ish. So yeah, early. And we were just moving. This dude's from Sydney, Australia. And I was telling him like, how to like keep moving. And then he was like, you have such a strong spirit. And I just was like, oh, thanks, bro. Like, I'm like, I just feel good right now. Like, I'm like, the low I'm sure will come. And then it was like 3-4 miles later. Then like I start slowing down. They're like, you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
And is this flat or are you still climbing or?
It wasn't too technical, but we were still like climbing up, coming down a little bit.
And what's that pace that you're looking at right there?
Probably like in the 18s because we're hiking and jogging.
Okay.
But yeah, next thing I know, like after a few miles, I start puking, and I picked up straight eggs. Like it was like it separated the bacon from the eggs. I don't know. And he was like, I know what kind of guy you are, man. He's like, when you don't feel good, you just get quiet. And I was like, yeah, man.
And this is a Sydney, Australia guy that said that?
And then he was like, man, I felt good. So like we like switched. And he was like, I think I gave you the bad juju. But slowly, we just kept going. And it was really nice to them because like when I wasn't feeling good, they were just like, sit down for 5 minutes. And I did. And they stayed with me. Like they just like, it was like they were just like, they knew me forever or something. So it was like, I was like, damn, I appreciate that. But then like, as I kept moving, I was still feeling pretty bad. And then they were like, they kept moving because I was like, yeah, y'all need to keep moving. And I was just like, oh, I feel like crap right now. Still early on in the race. And then they left. I watched their headlights just disappear. Then my headlight starts getting dim.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh, shit. And I keep moving. And I switch to my other battery. I turn it on, still moving, and it starts dimming out. I'm like, bro.
Uh-oh. This is like, what, 2 a.m. or something crazy?
Yeah, like 2 a.m. And then, of course, with a dim headlight, it's the first night. I'm already tired. So I start, like, getting, like, wobbly, drowsy. And then this lady passes me, and she, totally noticed that I was, like, just, like, sleepwalking. And she was like, you should take a nap. Like, you'll feel way better. And I was like, all right. So, mile down the road, take a nap. I get up, keep on moving with my dim-ass headlight. And then she's actually taking a nap too and getting up. Okay. And I'm like, oh, it's the same girl.
Now, when you take a nap on the trail, how does that look? Do you got a sleeping bag? I don't think you got a sleeping bag. So, you just post up on a rock or what?
Yeah, dude. Just wherever. Like, sometimes there's, like, a flat rock that'll be nice. And I would literally just, like, unstrap my pack, move it up to my head, and lay, like, on the ground. And then just use that as, like, my pillow. And, like, just be like this. But that first nap was horrible. It was, like, rocks were in my hip. So that was not great.
And then, at any point on these naps, are you afraid that you're actually going to go into, like, a deep sleep and, like, a couple hours later wake up?
A little bit. Like, when I was worried, I would just set my alarm.
Okay.
But, like, you're not you're not deep sleeping out there probably. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you get really comfortable, but like usually like I would like hardly fall asleep. I just would like.
And there, is this
okay,
like,
so-
there's not a, at that point, is there a lot of people still around you, or is it kind of already separating? There's other racers that are like a couple miles apart kind of deal?
Definitely separating, but like if you're like in like a pretty open area, like you'll just see like headlights like 1 mile ahead of you, couple miles behind you, and like there's like moving like traffic lights.
Okay.
But we're pretty spread out. But the further you go, the more spread out it got for sure.
And then on your first nap, I'm assuming because it's Utah, there's not a, I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere. The stars has got to be beautiful. The night sky's got to be beautiful. Are you ever just like staring out into the sky and just like reflecting on your life and reflecting on your journey of like how you got there and like, are you ever questioning of like, why am I doing this? Or damn, this is actually, I'm in the middle of the shit. And like, is there any like, you know what I mean? Self-reflective going on?
Definitely a little bit of reflection. I mean, the first night, dude, it was like cloudy and there was like no stars. It was weird. Like I was like, this is Utah, bro. I'm disappointed. Like, because it was just like cloudy, like patchy clouds that first night. But there was definitely a point later on when they were like just more out, where I got to like just check it out. As far as like reflecting and everything, I'm just like, it's like, hey, I'm here doing it, you know? But I'm also just so focused on like, oh, I got to keep moving in 5 minutes. Like,
Right.
so I didn't really like go that deep into it. Just like getting ready for the next step, honestly.
Gotcha. Okay. So the first night, not too bad. I mean, you threw up. You threw up. You took a little trail nap, and then you kept going. How's your body feeling? Are you feeling good? There's no injuries yet, or I don't know yet, but like at all, like you're still like, I know your stomach's a little bit woozy, but you're like, I can endure this. Gonna keep going.
Yeah, like I was like, I'm just gotta hike it out, you know? So I was like, I'm good. And just like battling through the night, like drowsy, especially with that dim headlight. That was the main two things. Just like drowsiness, trying to just keep moving, and then of course my stomach. And then my headlight eventually died. So
how does that work? Because you have to have a required headlamp, right? So
yeah.
if that one busts, are you able to bring in a spare, or is that something that y'all thought about? Where like, I need to bring an extra headlamp whenever like you're prepping for this race?
Yeah, like I had extra headlights, but it, like you said, it was a point to have a spare battery, but that spare battery wasn't charged either.
Oh my, is that on you? Did you not do that or what?
Yeah, it was on me. But like I had it on a charger, but I bought it recently and it said it was green, so it was charged.
Okay.
So yeah, no, really just probably a lazy preparation. But I mean, I thought it said it was charged, it wasn't. But then when I started moving with that girl getting up from her nap, she had this bright waist light and she had a strong hike.
Well, yeah, then I linked up with Danielle, and her pace has been perfect. And she's allowed me to stick with her and also help me find my way back. So I'm really lucky that I ran into you.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you for letting me follow you for like 10 miles straight.
Oh, no worries. We got a lot more miles to go.
Yeah, still got a long race ahead.
Oh, yeah.
All right, see y'all soon.
So, and I had a dim headlight, so I was
What do you
like,
mean by strong hike?
she was just a strong hiker, you know what I mean?
She's just powering.
Just, and I'm like, okay, she's having a good pace. It's not too fast for me though. So I was like, I'm gonna stick with her. Like, and I was like, is it cool if I hang with you? Her name was Danielle. She's from Hawaii. But shout out to her, man, because I was like, I hope I'm not pestering you, but I kind of need you right now. And she was like, okay, you can hang with me. And we did like the next 10 miles hiking together. So we talked it out, man. But shout out to her for real, because I would have been stranded in the dark.
Is that her first Moab or?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
I forgot what other races she said she's done. Definitely a couple though, but nothing like no 200s.
Dang. So that's cool. Like you're like, okay, we're in the same boat.
Yeah. seemed like a lot of people. There was only like one person I met that did Moab before that.
Okay, so first night, extremely drowsy, but you're hiking it out. You found a pal, and you start seeing the sun come up, and you're like, okay, it's gonna be all right. But you said your next check-in when you went in like at 10 a.m. So you still got like a morning hike in front of you, and you're going. And then how was the check-in at mile 67?
It was good, man. And as the sun came up that day, dude, I was like emotional, bro. Like you would think I was like at the finish line.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't know what was going through my brain, but like I just was emotional. And I thought about like my cousin Jordan that passed in a car accident like the year before, and my cousins Abigail, Gabe, who also passed. Like it just seemed like, I don't know, like some things just hit me late. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, dude. It just hit me late, and I just started thinking about those things, and just feeling like emotional about, I don't know. There's people, I mean, that I might not have like, done the best by, you know what I mean? I thought about those moments, and I just was like emotional, about to cry, bro. It was weird.
So you're on the brink of tears?
Yeah. No, like I think I cried low key. I wasn't like bawling, bro, but I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I went there, bro. And it was the first morning.
So you think it's like just the lack of sleep, or seeing the sun come up, or just in the race, all the vibes, like?
Yeah, it was definitely the fact that I knew that this was going to be a long race, and like, because it was like a long night already, and like I just knew that it would take a lot out of me, and I guess I just started thinking of things, and I just was like, I don't know. But yeah, I knew that it was like, that was like, oh yeah, this is going to be super hard. Because you're on not even to mile 60, it's been 24 hours or something like that. So it just was hitting me. Like I was like, oh, like that was only night one. We have 3 more nights. So it just hit me.
So you mentioned earlier the call it what, the pain cave? Or what do you call it?
Yep, pain cave.
Pain cave. What is the pain cave?
The pain cave is when you get to a point when you just like, it's when you're in a low and you're just like, you're not feeling good and your mind's telling you to quit and your body is giving up on you as well. It's like you don't feel like moving forward. Each step hurts and mentally you're checked out. Like, because your mind is like, I cannot go forward, but it's not true. And you decide to keep moving forward. So when you get to that spot, that is the pain cave.
How do you get out of the pain cave?
You keep going.
Just keep going.
Yep. And it's like, to me, it's just like life. Like an ultramarathon is like life. Because like you're going to have some highs, some really highs, and then you're going to have some freaking lows. But like the only option to get to the finish line is to keep going forward. No matter like what motivation you have, no matter how you feel, you just have to keep going, because you'll get out of that low if you keep going. It'll pass.
Did you come up with this term, pain cave, or is that like a known thing in the runner's world?
Oh no, like back when I was listening to, Courtney DeWalter, she really put pain cave on the map.
Okay.
When Joe Rogan talked to her about it, and it was just like such a good way of putting it. So the pain cave is like, yeah.
It's very interesting.
That made me want to get to the pain cave.
You wanted to be in the pain cave.
Like I wanted to experience it.
Okay.
After hearing her talk about it, because she ran Moab, she slept for like 15 minutes or something like that.
The whole time?
Yeah, she won by 10 hours. So she takes the pain cave to another level.
Wow. Now, when you say one Moab, like, did she set the course record, or?
Well, that was, I believe it was the first year.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Is there like a men's time and a female's time, or is it just like, doesn't matter, that's the time?
There is, but she beat men and women by
Damn,
Yeah,
she's
bro.
a badass.
Yeah, bro. Like absolutely.
So at what point did you reach a pain cave within the first 67 miles?
First 60 to 70?
The second
yeah.
checkpoint, before the second checkpoint?
Um, no, not a pain cave. I mean, just a low.
Just low.
Cause like my stomach hurt and I was drowsy, but I wasn't like, I can't take another step. So I wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so you get to the second checkpoint. Your parents are there. Your team's there. How do you even feel for this? Do you just, for like my experience, my knowledge for marathon training, my fuel is just goos and, running gels and water and some, maybe salt tabs. That's the extent of all I know. That's like that, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, how do you even what fuel are you doing? Like, how do you even prep for this? Like,
Yeah. Luckily, they have really good aid stations like that at that base camp when they had eggs and bacon. Because to go on for days, you got to have real calories. You got to
substance.
Yeah. Like you're not going to get by with just like sugar. You know what I mean? And I definitely learned that by how I felt during my first 200-mile race, and I just was popping so many gels. But these aid stations at Moab, they were really well put together. So when they can give you a plate, when they have variety, then it's good.
So you said eggs and bacon, so that's I'm thinking just straight protein. Are you also getting bread and stuff? Is it carbs? Like how?
Oh yeah, so strategically, bro, I'm just I'm gonna eat whatever.
Strategically, I'm gonna eat everything.
Yeah, bro, literally, bro, if I can get down anything, then amen, bro, perfect. So when I got there, I ate a cheese quesadilla and some watermelon, I think. So a little bit of carbs, yeah, dude. So, and I told my parents, I was like, force food down my throat. Don't let me leave an aid station without eating. Because, I'm not going to see y'all for 12 hours at least. For 50 miles.
So that's kind of crazy because you just ran 67 miles.
Yeah.
And you're saying you can't hold food down? Or you're not hungry? Or what's going on?
Yeah, so, I mean, I ate that, those 2 plates of bacon and eggs. So I was like, oh heck, I'm eating 2 plates.
Was that a mistake? Looking back on it, was that a mistake?
I think so because I ended up puking it. So, but it was only the eggs and not the bacon. So it's separated, bro. I don't know. So there must have been something up with those eggs. But yeah, if I could go back, I would have ate 1 plate.
Just 1 plate? Okay.
Because I puked it up.
Maybe it was just a little heavy on you.
Yeah. Either that or some up with the eggs that my body
something up with the eggs
didn't honestly, because there was no bacon bits in there, bro. It got dissolved.
So your stomach's upset. Second aid station, you're not your body's not holding food. You can't eat or something, or what's going on, or you're able to eat.
So I mean, once I got to the Indian Creek, am I able to eat again? Yeah, I was able to eat, not a lot, but I did eat. I ate that cheese quesadilla. Cause that was still 8 hours or something ago. Yeah. So once I got there, I was able to eat again. And yeah, I didn't eat a whole lot. Just had that quesadilla and some watermelon. Didn't eat any eggs after that. And also I was taking gels too, but I don't know how much of that came out. But then I got in the U-Haul and the AC was not doing the job, bro. It was hot, 10 a.m. I was supposed to be there at 4 a.m. was my ideal plan. Didn't happen. So, with stomach issues, dim light, all that.
So you're backtracked 4 hours right now, off schedule.
Oh, wait. Also, I'm completely missing a part of this story, bro. Yeah, so, okay, let's backtrack a little bit. Once I followed Danielle with the headlight to the Oasis aid station, after puking and all that, get to this aid station. Because then, you know, I'm kind of on my own. She got me there. I'm sitting down around this fireplace with all these other runners. They're going to think I'm stupid. Sorry. So they all were like, no. They all looked at me. They're like, you know, they're all tired too. And so I ended up asking a staff member, and he's like, no, last time I gave someone a headlight, they took it. And I was like, all right, that helps. He's like, he asked what charger, he hooked up with the charger. So I was like, okay, I'm chilling. And then I was like, I might as well try to eat something. So I had like some broth, but also my stomach was messed up, as we all know. But I had some broth, something light.
Broth, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said brats. I was like,
I was like, no. Like,
oh, you bratwurst out there?
no, dude. Yeah. So I had some broth and just drank it, you know? And then, so there's this girl that came in to the aid station before me, and she was moving at a good pace. And I was like, dang, she looks like a strong runner, man. And I'm chilling, drinking my broth, and then I hear, I feel like I'm about to faint. And then I look up at her, and they're like, all right, well, let's like sit you down on this blanket. And so they turn her chair, and then like as she hits the ground, she starts seizing up. And you can tell she's passed out. You know, her eyes roll to the back of her head.
Is there medics that are in the staff as well, or?
Well, I guess so, because you know the two staff members were kind of just like looking at her on the ground, and I've come to learn that there's not much you can do when someone's seizing up. I didn't really understand that, and to me, I was like, bro, like I'm worried about her.
So she goes from strong runner to I'm about to faint to seizing.
Yeah, like completely gone. Like, and I'm like, and they're just like kind of looking at her like this. But I learned now, like from nurses, like you can't really do anything. But I'm like, she needs help. Like she's about to die. That's how I felt. And so I go to all the other volunteers. I'm like, she needs serious help. She needs serious help. And I say it until like someone comes over there. So then he grabs a med kit. I guess maybe he's the medic. Technically, I don't know. He goes over there with the med kit, and a couple others, and then like they're just like kind of looking at her. And then she comes back to it. And they're like, what'd they say? They said, do you know where you are? And she's like, and then they're like, okay, what day is it? And then she was like, it's October 11th. I'm in Moab. Oh no, it's October 12th. So everybody was like relieved. Cause she was aware.
Right.
But yeah, that was a crazy moment. So yeah, I had to backtrack to that, bro. But then after that, I grabbed my headlight, turned my lamp on, get moving. Then I started turning on my music. I had 8 songs on my Garmin. Listened to 8 songs, bro. I said, I'm not repeating that again. Turn them off. Kept moving.
Yeah.
Got to Indian Creek.
And what about the girl? Did she DNF or did she keep going?
Yeah, like it was just like
DNF did not finish, right?
Yep. Dude, like they just were like, you know, she looked scared and worried. And on top of this is not an aid station that really had access. So, like they were like, it was a remote aid station.
Yeah.
It was a remote aid station. So they were like debating how to get her out of there.
Like, do they have helicopters on standby or something? I mean,
no.
No? Damn.
And like to do something like that would be super expensive.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if that would even be their first option, bro. And so they were like debating on how to get her, how to meet somebody. Like they did have a truck there, but that was the only truck. But they looked at each other. They're like, like she can't keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she obviously like she was like strong-willed, and I feel sorry for her. It's unfortunate, but like I was like, I hope she doesn't keep going, because like
I wonder how that mentally that sucks for like you train probably years for this. I mean, it has to be years for this race. You get there, physically strong runner, she's doing great, and your body just just gives up. Like, not, I mean, I don't know if he gives up is the right term, but like literally seizes up.
Yeah.
And the strong mind, the heart's there, but physically you're done.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's got to be a tough one.
Yeah, dude. Because it's a commitment, man. Everything. The training, but not even just the training. Like, for me, it's like the training, all these people donated to this. I had to take 2 weeks off from work. My parents took time off instead of going on a cruise vacation. So, like, I'm sure everybody was doing something similar.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a huge commitment, not just me and my training. Like, even though that's huge itself.
Right. All right. So we just had to switch out batteries and we ordered a little bit of pizza, but we're back. We're back. So the last thing we're talking about is Indian Creek, second aid station. It's 10 a.m. You just ran the whole night. A lady seized up on you, and you're seeing your family for the first time or second time.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you were in a U-Haul.
Yep. So yeah, I walked down to the U-Haul, which was on the way out. But I got in the U-Haul because I had like my mattress in there. It was a 9-foot cargo van, mattress in there. I had drawers lined up with like everything I need. But I tried to take a nap. That was my plan. I'm gonna sleep. So I laid down, but we had the AC cranked up all the way, but it was hot. So the sun was just beaming the U-Haul. There was no fan in the back. So I was not catching any Z's. So, yeah, I just laid there for a moment. And yeah, so I learned from my first 200-mile race, there was one aid station that had a shower, and it was at like mile 130. So, and I remember feeling really fresh after that. So I knew there was no showers at Moab, so I brought a portable shower. And yeah, I jumped in there after my little nap. I did not sleep. It was just hot in there, bro. It was like a sauna. And so that didn't help. I got in there and the water was freezing cold. So I just was like, it was like so hot outside. So I got through that. It woke me up, that's for sure. I put on my hat that had a nape on it to cover my neck. And then I took off from that aid station.
And so you ate a little bit of cheese quesadilla and some watermelon. Does that worry you at all? Like the freezing water and like how hot it is? Like, does that shock your system at all? Especially like putting all that effort into it, or like that strain onto it?
Yeah, it was like it was not pleasant at all. Like I was really wishing that water was just warm or something, because it was just like too much. Like I was already like, stressed out, sleep deprived. So like having to take a cold shower, like it was just wasn't the time to do that. But I did it, and I felt better leaving. And it was 10 a.m. and it was only getting hotter at this point.
So you took off from the second aid station, and how long do you think you would say your total sleep time is at this time?
I mean, true sleep, I'm not sure, but like laying down, eyes closed time, probably like an hour and a half, probably.
Okay.
Something like that. Sleep time, probably like, I don't know, 15 minutes, like, you know what I mean?
Some real sleep.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I got your notes here, right? And from Indian Creek, you're headed to the island, which, let's see, how far is the island, or what is the island?
The island ain't an island, bro, I can tell you that. It was far from an island. Yeah, so we take off, I think it was 13 or so miles, I'm not sure, something like that. But we take off, and the first like 5 or 4 miles is all on the road, and it's just beaming, bro. Like the sun is beaming, it's hot. And I'm just using my poles on the road. The poles helped a lot. This is the first race I ever used lecky poles and trekking poles, and I was like really shocked by how much they helped. It was critical. I
was reading this David Goggins book, his second book. I was running and I was listening to the audio book.
Never finished, baby.
Never finished, and he said, these trekking poles are new to the ultra running, and when he was doing it, he didn't have any poles, and he noticed when he was running I mean, he was dead, and he was like, kind of throwing the towel a little bit. And his one of his coaches were like, just use the poles, and he's like, no, fuck that, I don't want to use the poles.
Yeah.
Because I it's David Goggins, like, I ain't no bitch, I ain't whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, he just couldn't make it, and then he started using the poles, and he was like, night and day. He just like did those things. I was going, and he could. Now he's like trekking up these hills. So like, did you think it like makes a huge difference in your performance?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. I mean, it definitely helped because like I was on that road moving, and then I just put them away because I was like, I'm on the road, and then I was like, man, I feel the impact even more, so I took them right back out. No, like they made a huge difference because all my other 100-milers, all that, I would just have put my hands on my knees, kind of like he was doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying. He's like, I just do my hands on my knees and climbing up the mountain. I think it was like Lead Water, Bad Water, one of those that he was saying about this
yeah,
race.
it was Leadville 100.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Because he like went back to do it. But yeah, with all that climbing too, it was like so helpful to actually use my upper body. And that was something I learned in that last 200. So I definitely was learning as an ultra runner. Because I remember I was on mile like 150, and I got passed by this dude just hiking with poles, and I was like, that looks amazing right now. I was like, I told my mom, I was like, please find some poles somewhere to buy. And we're in the middle of Nebraska. There was nothing out there. So that didn't happen. But this time I was ready. Because usually it's just a pain to carry. And I mean, usually I don't need them. But at Moab, I needed them. And they were super helpful. If you're going to do a 200-mile race, I highly recommend. They're going to help you out so much. Or 50 miles, they're going to help. They're going to help.
If you want to sign up for a 200-mile race,
go ahead and register now.
So 13 miles, your next station.
Yep.
It's an 8-station island, or?
Yep, it's the island. And this was one of the hottest stretches. So, all that road exposure, and then you get onto the trail, and there's like barely any trees. This is when I was like, Moab is a desert. Like, that's when it really hit me. There was like a couple of bushes that people were like laying under, like just to get some shade.
Oh, okay.
And it also got very sandy in that area, so it just was like a pain. But yeah, you come up this little hill, get to the island aid station, and yeah, that, I took a couple breaks to get some shade, take a gel, you know what I mean? But it was hot, but I was moving fairly well comparing to other runners.
And when's the next time that you see your parents? When do they have access?
After that, it was, let me see. Oh, it was Shea Mountain. Yeah,
Shea Mountain.
Shea Mountain. So the next one was Bridger Jack. Yep. So how many miles that was? But from Indian Creek, it was another 50 miles.
Another 50 miles so you see your parents.
Yeah, another 50. So
another 50.
I don't see them in a day.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. Like I'm over here, like I go to bed 10 or so. I'll like real quick check on stuff, and then I'll wake up and I'm like, damn, man, still out there.
God, dude.
Oh man,
You ain't done yet? Come on, man, hurry up.
So how's that mental? How do you feel mentally? Where like you're leaving this aid station, you're like, I'm not gonna see you for another 50 miles. You don't know what's gonna happen between then.
Yeah, I just like, I mean, just was like, I just got to get through it, That was really the only thought. I was like, I literally said, this is gonna suck, cause like, and I expected to leave there at like 5 a.m. But instead I'm leaving in the heat, barely got any sleep. So that was not convenient. But yeah, I was like, this is gonna suck, honestly.
Have you caught up with any of the people that you were talking to earlier from Australia and Hawaii girl and?
Nope. I didn't, at that point, didn't see him. But I did see, I think it's Eli, it's Weeby, I believe is how you pronounce it, but I might be butchering that. He's like a really motivational runner, does a lot of 200s. And back before we got to, sorry, I'm bringing it back again.
No, you're good.
Back before we got to the first crew access, he was already in a low, puking up. And and Andy Glaze was with him because they're like cool. And yeah, he was already in like a low, and I just remember seeing them, and I was like, hey, what's up, man? But like I wasn't gonna like, you know, like I had nothing to offer to help,
right.
So I wasn't gonna be that annoying guy. But I just said, hey, see y'all down the line. But I saw him at that aid station at Indian Creek. He gave me like a little salute. And then when I was moving to the island, I didn't see none of them, but I did see 2 more people I met, and they were both from Vancouver. And then they would call me Texas, like moving on to the race. They'd be like, hey, it's Texas.
It's Texas.
Yep. So it was cool meeting them. Really cool. I think it was Brianna. What was her name?
So at any point, did you feel like you were ever truly alone at this point?
Like, at this point?
Well, like, yeah, like your stretch between that aid station and the next 150, like, I'm imagining where it's like, it's kind of spread out now. Like,
yeah,
not a lot of people around you. You might have 1 or 2, but like, were you ever just like really isolated by yourself and just...
I was, but it wasn't like in like a bad way. It just was like I'm just moving. Got to that checkpoint, so it's good to make some progress. But nah, not at that point.
Gotcha.
Not yet.
Not yet. And did you reach any pain caves at all from that 50-mile stretch?
This one to Shea Mountain?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, definitely like lows and just like
lows,
hard times for sure.
What was the hard times?
So when I went from the island to Bridger Jack, it's funny. I passed this one lady. She ran out of water. Well, what happened? It was early on. She woke up from a trail nap. Okay. And you know, when she put her back on her bag, it leaked all her water. And then she was like, I ran out of water. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, here, I'll give you some out of my bladder. And this is still early on in that stretch. But then I put out my bladder and it was already empty. So I was like, I'm sorry. Like, all I have is these 2 flasks. Like, I got to keep it. But I was moving to the Bridger Jack aid station and just climbing. It was getting a little bit chilly. Just was moving slow. And dude, I was walking and I saw in my headlight there's this object, and at first I thought it was like an old like archery target, like you know how they have like elk archery targets. Yeah, I thought it was like one of those on the side of the trail, just like sitting there deteriorating. And at first I was like, is that a person? What is that? I was like, oh, it's an archery target. And then I walk up and it's just a cow carcass, like just on the side of the trail, bro. And it's weird because it wasn't like fully decayed. It's like a lot of it was intact. The skin was there, but you could also see through the face and see the bone. Huh. And then I like poked it with my trekking pole, hard as a rock, bro. And I just was like, this is crazy. So was I hallucinating? I'm not sure. No, I'm kidding. I don't think I was. But yeah, I kept moving. And then when I got to Bridger Jack, I just remember like I needed to take a nap because I was drowsing off during that stretch again, and I did take a nap there. At
this point, can you take your phone on this race with you?
Yeah. So the GPX that was required, your phone's required too. You have to have it.
So it's an app or what is it?
Yeah, it's called Gaia.
Okay.
Really accurate. It worked really well.
Okay, gotcha. Pizza's here. Good.
Let's get it.
Okay, so no pain caves at this point. No pain caves, but I mean there's some lows. You got low sleep. You meet some people in there. So at this point at the race, are you feeling like this has got to be what, like mile 100 or so, the next aid station?
Bridger Jack was, I think Bridger Jack was like, was it like in the 90s, I think? Hey, that's why we got this. I should say total miles on here somewhere. Total miles, yeah. So Bridger Jack was about 100.
About 100.
But to the next one, it was the second biggest climb. So Shea Mountain, or to Shea Mountain, was 4,300 feet of vertical gain. So that was rough. That was basically a pain cave.
Dang, so this like 20-mile stretch from, yeah, you got 97 miles, and then you go to 114. So almost 20 miles, and it's just vertical.
Yeah. But it was all in like the last 2 or 3 miles.
Oh, man.
But at Bridger Jack, bro, I took a nap. And I remember like just being underneath this blanket, and then it got cold, and I just was sitting there, and I took a longer nap than I was thinking. But I was like, oh, I don't want to get up, but I eventually did.
What time did you get to Bridger Jack?
I don't remember, but it was middle of the night.
Middle of the night?
Yeah, because when I got to Shea, it was day. And yeah, Bridger Jack to Shea, there was water crossings. I was drowsy again.
Water crossings? So your feet are, I mean, you're getting...
No, I was able to maneuver around it.
Okay.
Like it was like small creek, not river stuff.
Okay.
Dang, man. I'm trying to think all that happened. I was moving slow, getting drowsy, laying down. It did get cold, so I like just stripped down butt naked and put on my tights. Just like behind a bush or something. But yeah, then as like the sun came up, that's when like the climbing started happening. And it was very technical. You can barely get a footing, and you're like just climbing. But then you climb all the way up, then you come down, and then you climb all the way back up a mountain to the aid station.
Dang. So you have to climb 2 mountains.
Yep.
In this little stretch. It's insane.
Well, like not the entire like mountain,
Right.
Big ascent.
Got you. And are you worried at any point of like falling or tumbling down this thing? Like, are you physically, like, are you frail or like, are you strong? Are you feeling like, you're pretty weak climbing this thing up?
I was pretty strong, just super drowsy. That was my issue the entire night, and even like getting there, I was just drowsy, bro. I was tired.
Physically, you're good. You're like, we can keep going. Just
yeah, like I wasn't like cramping up real bad. I didn't have my legs weren't hurting too bad. I felt pretty strong physically. And yeah, even on like the last stretch, even when I was 3 miles away, I'd be like, so like I just would take a quick trail nap, keep moving.
Gotcha.
And then y'all can see that picture of how I looked coming into there. Look a little rough. That one of me with the Pacers.
Yeah, we'll pop it up. Wait, yeah, let's get to that. When did the Pacers pop in? When I noticed like, so I have you sent me your notes, and like it's pretty detailed. I mean, you got a lot of timestamps. You got estimated time that you're trying to finish. You got like, you have a really great plan of attack. Is that like all part of your prep? Like researching this? Like just how did you come up with all this? Is it?
Yeah, I wanted to dive in deep and also like just have a plan that for visibility, because they have all that info on the runner's manual, but I just needed to see it like in my own format, kind of.
Yeah.
And then also like have like what is the minimum pace that like if everything goes wrong, what do I have to hold? So I had to have that in there.
Yeah.
Then also like add it up all the time, like what it would look like, what the average pace would look like. So that was like my strategy going in. But yeah, once I got to Shea Mountain, that was when Spencer and Katie were there. When Spencer denied my hug. And yeah, I got there. They had pizza, and I smashed the pizza. Not like a 12-inch, but like, and I was like, I'm not gonna eat too much. I'm gonna eat one, because I learned. My dad, he was like, are you sure you don't want another pizza? I'm like, I told you, Dad, I don't want another pizza. Like, I do, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know. But I did eat a pizza, and it was good to see them. When I saw them, talked to them, it was awesome. It uplifted me. I didn't really take a nap there too long, and so we got moving pretty quick.
So you only have 2 pacers, and going into it, you plan for more, right? A couple of them couldn't make it, so you only had 2 pacers. What's your thoughts on when to place these pacers? When did you think you would need them the most?
Honestly, after my 100-miler at the grasslands earlier in the year, like my weakness was nighttime, definitely like drowsing off, and that's exactly what happened. Because like a pacer can like, hey, no, let's keep going or talking to you, whatever. So I definitely like ideally wanted some during the night, and then of course for big climbs would have been really helpful too. But Spencer and Katie, they could only be in town for so long.
Right.
Like they had to go back to work soon. So they jumped in when they could. Like Spencer was going to be with me for 30 miles, but he ended up being with me for 17. But I was grateful to get what I could,
So they're a married couple, right? So they have to kind of like double the time. So like he's got the 17 miles, and then he still has to wait for his wife to do like 17 miles with you.
Yeah, I think our stretch was like,
because they didn't do it. They weren't 2 pacers at once, right? It was broken up, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, Katie, we went to Monticello from Shea Mountain, which just had more climbing than I thought. Like on paper, it was like 3,000, I think. But we went up to 10,000 feet of altitude, and I felt that. But so just lots of climbing, and we were just going at a pretty easy pace. And she was more than prepared. She was strong, She was ready to run, get some miles in, like she prepped to do. Mm-hmm. But I was sluggish, 100 plus miles on my feet, drowsy. But we climbed up to 10,000 feet. We had a lot of climbing, went up to 10,000 feet, and then my head started pounding. And I was just like, oh God. And that's when I knew. I was like, we're at altitude, because that happened before.
Ah, okay.
When I went to Colorado with Believe in the Run for this trip, that same thing happened. So as soon as that started happening, I said, hey, I'm going to take a second. And then I put 1,000 milligrams of sodium in my bottle, and I chugged it right there, because I knew that the salt will help.
Is it the lack of oxygen, or what causes the headache?
I don't know, dude. I just know it's the altitude. And one of the runners at that last time, he was like, you need to just pound salt. He's like, just pound salt and it'll help. And so right when I started to feel it, I pounded 1,000 milligrams and just took a little second, and we just kept climbing. And by the way, it was beautiful. Mountain ranges, trees, and we could also see bear poop on the trail. So we were like, I was like, there could be a bear in the area.
All right. Shea Mountain, Monticello, you were with Spencer, right? Or Katie?
I was with Katie, yeah.
With Katie?
Yep.
Okay. So she helped you get that one. So now we're at 126 miles in. You're, a little bit past the halfway point. And Spencer's taking you to the next one. How are you feeling? I mean, you're halfway done. It's been a journey to get there, right? But
yeah,
what's your mental state at?
Well, I mean, after that altitude, man, when I came into the aid station and I sat down, and they had sushi at this aid station, I was like, what? I've never heard of a sushi at an aid station in my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, let me get that. To be honest, it wasn't that good. I took a bite and I was like, okay, that's not it. But I did eat. What did I eat? Probably had a quesadilla or something. But I definitely ate. I ate at the aid station. Don't remember what it was, but I was definitely just tired. I was like, I'm gonna take a nap, and I had a headache from the altitude. So I got in the van, took a little nap. And then my mom, she actually took off my socks, wiped down my feet, which was clutch.
Mm-hmm. How'd your feet look at that point? I mean, they got to be pretty beaten up, right?
My feet do very well, man. Like, really well.
I feel like a lot of people, like even marathon runners, they struggle with the toes and toenails coming off, and like Andy Glaze, right? He always shows his. This is what my feet looks like after 100 miles, and like it's just all crusted and nasty. Like you don't get any of that.
Dude, I don't. Nah, dude. Like, my feet have done very well. I have calluses on the bottom of my big toe. Like, they just built up, you know? But, like, I've never lost a toenail. I've only bruised it. Like, I've only bruised it where it's, like, purple, and it stayed that way for a while. But never toenail came off. So, done really well. A lot of people out there might be wearing shoes too small. You know, I worked at a run specialty store, and when I started working there, I wore a 9.5, and I tried to fit in some 9s. But once I actually learned about it, I started wearing 11s.
To have more space in there.
And so, like, even if the shoe feels loose, I don't mind, because I know that my toes should be able to splay out like this, not like this. So if you ever need to get fitted, go to Fleet Feet Round Rock.
But so my question is like, if you have your toes in the toe box, and you got like a size up, or what, you know, you got a little bit bigger, you know, shoe than what your true size is, I guess. Does the movement inside the shoe, does that create the blisters, or is it like, because I struggle with blisters, so I'm trying to figure out like what do I need to do, because I feel like I have room in my toe box, but like I don't know what's the deal.
Is it's shifting in there a little bit?
It feels pretty good. I mean, I don't know. It's just like, you know, but it's just like I'm trying to figure out like maybe you have like a little secret. Like some people say like with hiking you wear double socks and the friction happens between the socks instead of the foot and the insole.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I do know that I always tie with the runner's loop, because even if like the shoe is quite roomy up here, if I tie the runner's loop, it's gonna prevent it like a lot from slipping up and down back here. You don't want to over tighten it where it cuts off circulation. But once I do that, it holds in place very well, and I have plenty of room in the toe box.
Okay.
That's really the only trick. As far as like friction up here, I'm not sure. But I definitely like go to where I have plenty of space. And especially like by mile 130, your feet are swollen. My feet were definitely swollen. The toe box was too narrow at that point. Like I should have gotten a wide and a half size up.
Okay.
At that point, because my toes were like crammed in there because they were so swollen. But that's what I do. I just use, you know, probably like a feature sock, and then, you know, just a shoe that has plenty of room in the toe box, and I do that runner's loop. That's my remedy or strategy.
Easy. Simple.
Yep.
So, okay, so now you're at 126. I mean, let's go back to like the mental check, like the halfway done. I mean, are you feeling confident? Are you feeling good?
Well, when I was in the van at that moment, I still had that headache, and I just was like, oh, like this is gonna suck. And yeah, I just told like Spencer and my dad and my mom, and I just was like, yeah, I'm just scared that like this headache is not gonna go away. But once me and Spencer started moving, and man, I'm not a liar, dude. Usually I never take ibuprofen during a race. But they offered it to me and I had a blistering headache, and I just was like, dude, I don't want to have a blistering headache for too long and like where it slows me down so much.
Yeah.
So I took 2 ibuprofen in that moment. And then once me and Spencer got down a couple of miles, because I was thinking about not saying that, like, oh, I just, didn't do it. Because I've always ran all my ultras without taking ibuprofen. Mm-hmm. But yeah, once we got like a couple miles down the way, I felt really good. So that definitely helped a little bit. And then me and Spencer, we were just talking. He was moving quick. I was moving with him. And we were just having a great time.
Now, y'all are running like at a good pace, or are y'all hiking and walking, or?
Yeah, both. Yeah, no, we started jogging at a good pace, running together, and also hiking. And we did that in the entire 17-mile stretch to Dry Valley. So that was like a really good time, especially after like a couple of slow sections. It was awesome to get there like at a good pace.
Kind of caught up on time a little bit in there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heck yeah! And then so you get to the next spot, right? Which is let's see, you have the island, Bridger Jack, Shea Mountain, Dry Valley, and then the Needles. So this is, y'all are going to the Needles?
Yeah, but that had crew access at the next one actually. So like now there's more crew access towards the end.
Okay.
Like I don't know, there's like those 50-mile stretches. Like it was good to have that over with because I knew that like, oh, I'm gonna see them more frequently. But yeah, then that's when Katie came to pick up Spencer. I said peace out. So happy that they came, and then it was like time to get going again.
How's that feel? Like both your paces are out. It's just you.
I mean, I just was happy that they were there, and I just knew that it was like my time to take it from there. Really just hoped that they like had a safe travel home because it was still like late at night and they had to drive back to Texas.
Yeah. Oh, they drove?
Yeah. And I just was like really hoping that they knew that I was really appreciative of them being there, taking their own time off and like, me taking a little bit longer than expected, and just being patient with me, and going out to Utah to support me,
Yeah.
So I just, like, I can't thank them enough, dude.
Have you talked to them after the race? And
Not like on the phone or anything, just like through text, but we're going to like meet up soon, hopefully. Me and Spencer are pretty busy, like usually.
That'd be exciting, man. Just kind of like recap on things. And I feel like, still 17 miles in Moab's not an easy feat.
Yeah.
And like, definitely feel like that's an accomplishment on his end too. Like, I've never ran 17 miles, so especially in that terrain, that's like
Not for long.
Not for long. So, I bet sharing that experience with you is like pretty awesome for him, and
Yeah.
that'd be cool for y'all to meet up and talk about that.
It was also like, he felt like it was an accomplishment too because he was like a little bit hesitant of going into the night. Because like, he said that he just usually like is a little worried about like animals and things like that. I believe he said that. He's like, he just had like a little fear of, the nighttime, especially being out in like Utah in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But he said as soon as he had his headlight on, like he was just having a blast. Like, and he was like so happy to be there. So it wasn't only an accomplishment on that, but also he's like conquering a little bit.
So he ran with you through the night?
Yeah. Like we started that section at night because I took so long. So he was like.
But that kind of helped you out because like that's like your bad, not bad moments, but like the moments where
That's my weakness.
that's your weakness is
Absolutely.
the nighttime.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know if I want to go back. I'm like, yes. So it worked out.
Heck yeah. So now you're at the Needles, which that's parents there?
No. The Needles, they're not. And this stretch, lots of dirt road. Yeah, just like a dirt road, dude. Like literally, you are on this dirt road. There's not much elevation gain, and then you get onto an actual road, asphalt, and the asphalt just hurt your legs. Like to get on the asphalt, it just like hurt. Like I hated being on it. But I finally got to the Needles, and I was like there for a second eating, and then one of the staff members was like, "You've been here for a while. It's time to go."
Oh.
But they do that because it's good to keep moving. But I'm like, hey, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I know how I feel and what I want to do. So I just was kind of like, chill out, bro.
Yeah. So you told him that, or like you were like, oh, I'm good right here, just for a little bit more, or.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I brushed them off, but I just was like, okay, like, thanks. Not in a rude way, just like, I'm good. Thank you. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going on.
So mile 180. How many nights?
Was that 180?
Total? That's about 160.
160. Okay.
160. How many nights is this total that you've ran through?
2?
2 nights.
Wait. 3.
3.
That was the third night. Yeah.
Third night with Spencer.
Yep.
Third night with Spencer. He gets needles. No pain caves at all at this point.
Nah.
You're going. You're trekking.
Yeah.
160.
Just like lows, you know, like
Lows.
getting to Shea Mountain when I was beat up, it just was hard, you know? Like it was just hard. I was drowsy, but my body wasn't like beat to heck. So
you're at 160. You have 80 more miles. You're at Needles. Staff members like, hey, kind of, you need to get it going. Are you feeling a little bit kind of, I mean, you still have 80 miles to go. So that's like 3 marathons plus.
yeah.
Is it like, are you processing like the distance, or is it just like, oh, it's just 80 miles?
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely like, well, I'm not even, I'm just like, it's another night.
Yeah.
Another day and night. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I'm at this aid station after like just moving all night. I was just like, oh, it would have been nice if there was like a, you know, if I could sleep here. But like, so like, you know, once, cause like your mental check-in is like, I'm gonna get to the next aid station. You're not thinking 240. I'm gonna get to the next aid station.
Yeah.
When that guy from Sydney, Australia, he was like, we still have 200 miles to go. And I said, no. I said, we have 10 miles to go.
10 miles to
like,
go.
I'm like,
yeah.
don't say that to me, bro. But, you know, and he was like, you're right, man, you're right, you know? Because, like, that's really what it is. You can't think I'm running 240 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, like, obviously.
Take little bites at a time.
Yeah, and then you go, 1 mile closer to the aid station. Because once I get to the aid station, can regroup, chill out.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I get to the aid station, I'll be okay. So that's how I always think of it. And dude, and then of course I left there, you know, still the morning, going to, to Road 46, aid station. So it's gonna start getting hot. And yeah, dude, it was heating up, dude. And this one was also mostly road, like some ups and downs, but mostly on this dirt road. And yeah, it just got hot. I was tired. I didn't get to sleep at the last aid station at all.
So you got like 3 nights of barely any sleep. Are you starting to hallucinate? Or are you feeling kind of weird or like sleep deprived? Like you're like just not mentally there? Or are you pretty coherent? Are you pretty, you know what's going on?
I'm very coherent. Like by the time I left the Needles, I was very coherent, just definitely like tired, drowsy, and just like, you know, trying to keep moving at a good distance. And then I, you know, definitely ran out of water on the way to Road 46, like halfway through. And it's just, the sun's beaming and I'm just like taking trail naps and there's like stickers on me.
You're just laying down and the sun's just beaming on you.
Yeah, and just drowsy, bro. Like, and miles are taking forever. 20 minutes, just like, ugh. So it was like, I was definitely like slowing down, feeling tired, fatigued, taking trail naps, like, because I just couldn't stay awake. And just moving a mile at a time, literally.
Damn.
Like, just like dead walking to the next one. And that's when I really just did not like feel good. Like, I wouldn't say it was like a pain cave, but it was like just a low, tired, just, yeah, it wasn't good. So like I just kept doing that until I got to Road 46. And then I took a little nap.
Like a decent nap, or?
Yeah, a pretty decent nap. I mean, it's probably like, I don't know, maybe an hour or so in the van. And then I showered again. This time the water was hot. Shout out to my dad and mom. And I ate plenty, had some quesadillas. And this was like another big stretch, like 30 miles till I see my crew again. And also the biggest climb in between. So like it was like, I gotta be ready. And I was at the aid station for a while. And they were like, hey, you gotta get going. And then my brother JW was texting my mom and dad from home. He's like, tell him he has to go. And I'm here like, thanks for letting me know, man. Appreciate it.
Dude, I can't even imagine. How do you go from you can barely get a mile at a time, 20 minutes, trail naps, just trying to get to this next aid station? How do you like revamp yourself, like, or to just mentally keep going? Like, did you continue at that pace after that, or were you like after the aid station, you're like, okay, I can get a little bit better, faster pace after this, but
yeah, I mean, dude, the way to revamp myself is just getting to the aid station, and then definitely like getting some quality sleep, not just laying in the sun like roadkill. But yeah, like getting good, like taking that shower after I ate.
Yeah.
I'm full, I'm clean, and then I jump in the bed in the back of the U-Haul, and I actually fall asleep on a bed. Then by the time like I had like all my stuff, my gear, and this one they're like gear checking. They're like, you got to have everything for this one. Like this one's no joke, basically.
staff's coming around checking your bag.
Yeah, like they're like, let's make sure you have this, pull it out, da 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 da. And yeah, it was time to roll out. But as soon as I took, that first 2 steps, I was like, okay, I feel good. Like I feel way, way better than
than what just happened.
Yeah, like I felt like a different person. Because I was there like, just getting finished.
So that's 170 miles. Now you're going to Pole Canyon.
Yep.
Right, and you said this is the most elevation.
Well, Pole Canyon to the next
Geyser Pass or
Geyser Pass.
Geyser Pass.
That's the biggest climb, but it's like lots of elevation gain until I see my crew again. So from Road 46 to Pole Canyon, there's definitely some climbing still, like 2,000 plus feet. But I'm feeling good. And the first thing you do is climb up this little, I guess it's not a mountain, but it looks like a mountain to me. Climb up this little mountain, and there was like these 2 rainbows off in the side. And it was just like and there was the La Salle Mountains behind it, just 2 rainbows, like clear as day. And I'm just like, that is beautiful. And it has to be a sign of hope or something, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm feeling good. And now I'm seeing these rainbows, and I'm on a mountain range looking off in the mountains.
Things are clicking.
But also, no, we're going in the night. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is the trick, bro. This ain't real. I'm hallucinating. Nah. But I also got a clip. We can throw it on here if you want.
Oh, yeah, I just left the freaking aid station, and I'm moving really well. And look at this beautiful rainbow near this mountain, the La Salle Mountains over there, that I'm about to go climb up. That's so pretty. Hopefully it doesn't rain too hard though, because I am dressed up. But yeah, I had to share that while I'm here. But just focus on holding a good pace and getting to Pole Canyon. Let's get it, baby.
Yeah, basically I just trekked my way, held a really good pace getting to Pole Canyon. I don't think I took any trail naps on this one because I felt pretty good all of a sudden. And I met this guy named Nick, I believe. Super cool dude. He just was trekking, we were just talking. But we get to Pole Canyon and we just like sit down. And this is when I'm like, okay, this is a good time. I'm on this mountain range, I have service again. I'm gonna go ahead and text my boss, let him know I can't make this.
Yeah, at the back of your mind, you're this whole time you're like, I gotta let this guy know.
Yeah, I'm like I just have to. Like at that point I just couldn't help it. So I let them know. I'm like, hey, I'm on mile 180. Unfortunately, won't be able to make the meeting. And there was also another chat on there, and I just felt like it was my responsibility to respond, even though I was like really trying to just focus on this.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, oh yeah, I can do this event, whatever. That's honestly what was going through my mind, you know?
But
Not complaining.
Kind of might work in your favors, like getting your head out of the, you know what I mean, putting yourself in a different mental space, like kind of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like for me, when I run, like when you were pacing me, I had a golf ball in my hand, and I was just like kind of fixated on that instead of running. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like if you just sometimes taking your mind
Yeah.
off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a distraction. It definitely, yeah, absolutely. Because then when you're like thinking of something, next thing you know, a mile goes by. You're like, oh, that distracted me. Like, yeah, that worked. So yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean by that. And then, yeah, so I like just put my phone down, and basically like, you know, I had like a hot chocolate. No, I had a apple cider that was hot, I think. And after I set my phone down, then I just was like, all right, time to get going. And I know this is the biggest climb of the race, but I know I'll see my family on the other side.
Right.
But we're like, you know, it's 11 p.m.
Going into the night.
on the hardest stretch. I'm like, I know this is not gonna
Anybody around you?
Yeah, so I was at the aid station, and Andrew Marvin, he's an ultra runner. He was out there volunteering, and he was like, he was saying like, oh yeah, Shea Mountain was the hardest stretch. This one's like has a lot of climbing, but it's like easier.
Got him.
You were live, bro. Yeah, so I get going, and I get like, you know, half a mile out, and then I'm like, I have this Y, like right turn straight. I'm like, okay, I need to check my GPX, make sure I'm going the right way. So I'm going to grab my phone, and I'm like, I don't have it. It's at the aid station,
How far?
like half a mile.
Did you go back, or you just gonna like? Hopefully, you went back.
Yeah, I was like I have to.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my, like I was like, bro. And at this point, my watch is already miles over what it's supposed to be. I've been adding miles this entire time.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So I go back, and I'm passing runners. They're like, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I left my phone. They're like, oh man. I'm like, yeah, I know. So that just wasn't a good start. You know, went back, grabbed it. That added another mile to it. Because like a couple of these parts, I went off track a little bit, and then like I walked to the crew vehicle a couple times. So that adds some miles over this 200 miles.
Right.
So that added another one. So I'm adding like 6 miles to my like whatever it is to calculate when I'm going to be there. And I swear, half these aid stations were like half a mile further. Dude. I'm not even kidding. Like I'd be like, dude, where is this aid station?
Supposed to be here, right here.
I promise. And then, yeah, dude, I get going, and sure enough, start climbing. And this is like a different area. Like you're really you're in the mountains, bro. And you start going up, and I was like just moving, put my stuff down, took my jacket off because I was like, I'm gonna start moving. I'm heating up. And I was moving really well, like just breathing like hard. I kind of felt like I was going into beast mode. And past all those people that passed me when I got my phone. And they're like, wow, you're moving strong. And then I don't know, dude, at some point, or like I got to the top, but then it just started doing this. Like you were just going down to climb, and you're thinking, when is this thing gonna end? Like, and then you're like, it's only been 3 miles. Like, and you're like, oh my gosh. Because I was putting in so much effort to go so slow. And that's when it really hits you like, oh my gosh, that's going to be a long night. But then, dude, I at some point, like I took a trail nap because I was drowsy again. And then Nick, he ends up like passing me. And I was passing runners laying down, like just in the...
Nick is the volunteer, right?
No, Nick was the dude that I met on the way to Pole Canyon.
Okay.
And I'm not even sure that's his name for sure, but I'm pretty sure. But yeah, as I'm doing this, there's people on the side of the trail just like laying down in the mountains. And dude, this mountain is like, it's like this. So we start getting into trail that's sideways, and there's rocks and roots, and you're doing this like big descents, and it's getting cold, 30 degrees. So like this was hard. And I'm passing runners taking trail naps, and it was like a roller coaster. Because then I was taking trail naps, they'd pass me. I passed them taking trail naps. But then Nick is like, hey, that guy back there, he was going into hypothermia. I told him to pull out his emergency bivy and get in it. And I was like, he's like, I'm going to try to get to the aid station quick. Like, he might need my help. But I'm like, I'm focused on myself.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, I'm like, he looks like a runner, like another runner taking a trail nap to me because I didn't double check. I'm not going to lie. Which, shout out to him, he's, looking out for other people.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't notice. I'm not gonna lie. But I just was like, I gotta get to the aid station, bro. Like, I'm cold and tired, and this trail is rough. And like, honestly, like, dude, I definitely like could have fell off a cliff. I almost fell over multiple times because this thing is like this.
Yeah.
Rocks, roots, like, dude, you're like watching your step and you're descending.
Yeah.
Working your quads. So, like, my foot is stubbing on every rock and root possible. So it just was a long night.
Yeah.
But towards the end, you climb, ascend, and then it was like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like beautiful Yukon country. It looked like Montana. Like the trees, all the leaves were like orange. The leaves were on the ground. It was beautiful. I saw mule deer. So after a rough night, it was just like heaven coming out of it. And you can just see like miles and miles. It was very pretty. And then I got up on the road finally, and I was like, hope, And then there's this hunter on a four-wheeler, like all camo. I was like, what's up, man? He's like, I'm out here. I finally got my bull tag. I'm about to go. He's like, after 12 years of waiting, I finally got my tag. And I was like, oh, you bow hunting? He's like, nah, I got a rifle. I was like, that's awesome. And I was like, that sounds fun. Like, and it was so pretty. I was like, dang, I would love to be doing that right now. And he goes, what are you doing?
He has no idea this is going on.
No, he goes, what are you doing? And I passed 2 hunters in the middle of the night on that crazy trail. Like, just pitch black. They had guns, like, just like walking through. Like, they had no idea. They just were hunters, I was like, good luck. And I'm suffering, bro. I was like, good luck. They go, you too. But yeah, he goes, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm running a 240-mile ultramarathon. And he's like, oh, okay. And I was like, all right, man, take it easy. And I look like just beat up.
If that guy had like any, let's say like beef jerky or something, and he gave it to you, and like, would that disqualify you at all, or could you?
Technically.
Yeah,
because like you're not allowed to like take any of that, because everybody has to carry their own stuff.
Right.
So I guess it makes it fair game. I don't know if they would enforce that, but yeah, no, you wouldn't be allowed to technically.
So, you said on the first night, going through the first night, the first morning, you're very emotional thinking about your cousins and you're kind of tearing up. Any other time did that happen? Like, this morning is really beautiful, no emotional tearing up or anything, or just you're the end's in near sight, and that's all that matters.
It just, dude, it wasn't even at the end. I mean, it was the end of that stretch,
Yeah.
Like I said, like
yeah.
Finishing that stretch, not like the entire race. No, dude, it was just like I just got beat up. Like I was like, that sucked. But like it was beautiful. So it was so beautiful that I just like I had to be like grateful, I was like, dang, this is pretty. And like the hard part is over for the most part. And so yeah, I just was like, dang, like it's so pretty out here and that tough part is over. But there was no emotional like about my cousins or anything like that. Yeah, I just got beat up. It was tough.
This is crazy. So far, no pain cave.
No, I mean, I think I'd probably call that a pain cave. Cause like, I mean, like my body wasn't beat to crap, but I was like shivering, cold, just getting beat up. Miles were taking forever. Like it wasn't fun.
So
You know what I mean?
So you're about to pop into Porcupine Rim, and then that's your last stop to the finish.
Well, I just got the Geyser Pass.
Just got to Geyser Pass. And you still have to go to Porcupine Rim,
Yeah.
and then from there to finish.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
No,
the
no.
race was a little bit long.
So you got 22 miles from Geyser Pass to Porcupine,
Yeah, dude, I was like,
This is-
22 miles, bro.
and this is mile 200. It's just incredible. I'm like trying to figure out when the lowest point was. I'm trying to figure out this pain cave.
Yeah. No, that stretch right there was definitely like tough, you know?
I could only imagine, dude.
Like, I guess the question is like, is the pain cave considered only when your body is completely beat up and you can't take another step? Or is it just like when you're in a really low? Because like, I would definitely, did you hear that? That's why I made that face, bro. I didn't want you to be like, why do you make that face? No, like, yeah, so that was like a low, which I feel like would be considered a pain cave, but I guess it's debatable.
It's all subjective. It's up to you.
Yeah.
So that stretch, you would say, that was the hardest stretch throughout the race. It's nighttime. You're going through mountains and
Yeah. It was one of the two toughest. But like, I mean, like hard on the body and mentally, like together, yes, that was the toughest. The next one's mental.
let's talk about that one.
All right. Well, first we got to, so at Geyser Pass, yeah, I mean, really, I saw my family, jumped in the car, took a nap, ate some food, didn't shower because I was like, I'm good. But I did change and pretty much got going. Don't remember anything crazy happening there. Got going, and this guy, he was like, dude, at this point, I was like, I don't trust the staff members, like, or they're like, as far as being like, oh yeah, this section's easy, like,
Oh yeah,
because that was like, I was like, that was 10 times worse than Shea Mountain. That was horrible. I mean, the nighttime makes it even worse. But yeah. So yeah, I leave Geyser Pass. There's like some climbs, because this dude, a volunteer, he's like, oh, it's downhill, the entire way, which I guess on like the elevation chart maybe, but we literally start climbing immediately. We go down and then we climb like another like hill or, mountain, maybe not mountain, but like big climb. And I'm just thinking like, this dude said it was all downhill. Like, why did you say that? You know what I mean? Then it's starting to get hot again. And then you get on a road. And honestly, I started looking at my watch and I'm on mile 200, bro. My math is not good. I'm doing the math and I'm thinking, wow, I'm actually cutting it really close. And I wasn't. But I start eventually, okay, so I was with this guy named Kyle and his pacer. Yeah, we were like moving, taking a couple trail naps, and then they stopped to get water in like a stream. And this was like at the point where I was like, dude, we're cutting it close. And they're probably thinking like, what's wrong with him? Like, you know what I mean?
They're getting water at a stream. Are they taking like natural water or?
Yeah, they probably had a filter on their bottle.
Oh, okay.
I had one like in the van, but I didn't need it. That time I ran out of water for sure though, because it started getting hot to get to Porcupine Rim. But I'm kind of like freaking out in my brain a little bit. And at this point I have phone service, so I put on my headphones, I put on music, and I'm like, I gotta dig. I'm like, I have to make it to this next aid station because I'm cutting it way closer than I thought. But it's really just that I was horrible at math and it was completely off. So I start actually running again. Like in this jog, it feels like an 8-minute pace, but it's like 11 or 12. Like I literally feel like I'm running 8-minute pace, but I'm running 12-minute pace.
I mean, you're putting some effort in, you're going, but you're just not.
Yeah, I'm just 200 miles deep.
Yeah.
So, and then like by the end of it, I'm just feeling really drowsy, you know, just like trying to stay awake. And then like, but I made some good time running. But then I start like walking in, starting to like fade away. I had to take a trail nap. Got up, kept moving, link up with the Vancouver people, moving. But then I moved like past them. And I get to the next aid station. And I'm like, oh, I got to be here for this long and get going. I sat down by the fireplace and I was like, hey, please fill up my waters. Like, give me a hot chocolate, please. And it started to feel cold. And I was like, can I put my feet up here? They brought me like a box to put my legs up. And they brought me a blanket, but I was like this, like literally like just like this. Like under a blanket. could not take a nap like that. And so I literally, they had 2 cots, but all these other runners were using them. So I walked up to a volunteer. I'm like, can I sleep on that tarp? And they're like, let me check for a cot. There wasn't one. And they're like, yeah, go ahead. But then another volunteer's like, hey, I have a mat if you want to use it. And I was like, yes, please. So I got on the mat, just covered up, and then like I definitely slept for a little bit. She woke me up after like 30 minutes because she asked me. And when I woke up, dude, I was totally drooling on the mat, and I was like, whoops. You know, so I kind of felt bad, but like, I'm a nasty, dirty ultra runner. So like, I was like, I hope he understands. But I said, thank you so much for letting me use it. But then I knew like I had to keep moving, bro. So I ended up putting on like tights in the porta potty, and I just was like, I gotta lock in. Like this is the final stretch. Like this is the final stretch. But I thought I was like forcing a pace. So I was kind of stressing out. I was like, dude, because like I had to hold like a 13-minute pace through the night, which I was like, oh my gosh,
that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was freaking out, but I was like I just wasn't listening to myself. I just was like, I have to do it. You know what I mean? So I left the porta potty, and then I pulled out my phone. I said, let me just double check like my pace calculator.
Yeah.
And it said like the minimum pace was like 48 minutes. And I was like, oh, I'm going to make it.
Yeah, you're good.
I was like, I'm completely good.
Yeah.
And then the Vancouver people, Brianna, she was there with her pacer. And I told him, I said, man, I was running back there. That's because I thought like I wasn't going to make it, or like, you know, I thought I was cutting it close. And they're like, nah, like you got plenty of time. And I was like, yeah. So at this point, I was like, more than likely, I'm going to make it to the finish line.
Yeah.
But it was 18 miles. And it said it was mostly descending.
So you're leaving Porcupine?
Yeah, leaving Porcupine.
And to finish is 18 miles.
Yep.
Yep, descending 4,300 feet.
Yep.
Massive descent.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, just put on my headlight, kept it bright, and I just was like hiking. And this is when things got loopy. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of like jogged a little bit. Didn't last super long though. And then I was trying to just hold a strong hike. And I started getting drowsy, of course. More than ever at this time. So I was taking like trail naps, like literally just like falling asleep, you know, just like, but still moving. And that was after like 3 miles. So like I got to 15 miles, but 18 miles feels like an eternity, especially when you're going at like a 20+ minute pace. Like that means like 3 miles in 1 hour max. If I'm actually holding a 20-minute pace.
Yeah.
But I'm taking trail naps, dude. People are passing me. We're playing leapfrog. But I just keep moving. And then I'm jamming music, just blaring it.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Dude, I didn't want to listen to my playlist, so I put on like shuffle on Apple Music. And there was some decent songs in there. Some of them were just garbage though. So some of them I just like hit and skip. But yeah, man, it got to a point where like I was like, dude, I can't keep taking tro naps. Like, since I'm taking these tro naps, my miles are like 40 minutes, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's alarming. I'm like, I gotta get it together. And I'm like, just keep moving. So I started power hiking, and this is like a road that is just rocky. So like every step you take is like on uneven rock. And I'm just like powering through it because I'm like drowsing away at the same time. So like trying to find the right footing was too much work for my brain. So I literally just started like just breaking my ankles, bro. Like just like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like just like moving through it, literally like breaking my ankles. I didn't roll it, luckily, but I just was like, I don't care. Like just keep moving.
Yep.
And I'm doing this. You know, like just trying to stay awake. I'm doing this, bro. Like I'm not taking a nap.
Just
right?
pushing out, yeah.
And then I get to this point where like I lose it. Like I lose it. I don't know what I'm doing. Like all I know is that I need to keep going. That's all I know. I don't know that I'm in a race. And my mind started doing something weird. Like it's hard to explain where it went. It was like it was really trying to like understand what I was doing, and I didn't know. And it was like, I'm trying to say it, but it's gonna sound weird.
Dude,
Like, it was like, my mind was like thinking like the progression I was making was by the rock. It was like, oh, I need to like collect more rocks.
interesting.
Like, it was like the mountain was like just starting to get me, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I didn't know what I was doing. I looked at my watch. I didn't know what the numbers meant. And so, like, it was like questioning the meaning of life. And once I saw my watch and I didn't know what the numbers meant, I don't know what happened, but I was like, I'm gonna take a nap. You know what I mean? Like,
I just need to stop.
yeah, bro. I lay down, bro. And then the next thing I know, I wake up and they go, hey, it's Texas. And it's the Vancouver people. And I'm like, they're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm okay. And I'm just like, damn, like, I really just like, I'm looking at it and get lost. Cause like after I took a nap, I was like, came back to it. And I was like, damn. I was like, that was crazy.
Completely just lost your mind a little bit.
Yeah, dude. Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. I mean, at least I knew to take a nap.
Right. So then you woke up and these Vancouver people were there. So like, you kind of teamed up with them to finish out, or what?
Nah, bro, they passed me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they're going.
Yeah, I mean, like, cause like I was like, it takes me like, you know, a minute to like get my legs going again. And I'm like, holy crap, that was crazy. But I get going, and they probably ended up taking a tro nap. But I'm hiking, and like starting to like drowse, and I'm like, dude. And it got to a point where I was just like, I want to leave. Like, I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, dude, I'm tired of this. I'm like, I want to leave. Like, nothing mattered, bro.
And this is at mile what? You're at mile
230, like, I mean, yeah, like, probably like 228. So I knew once I got to like 10, like, I'm 10 miles away, but I'm still 10 miles away.
You're 10 miles away. You just did 230 miles, and you're like,
Oh my.
just end it. I'm done.
No, literally, I'm like, dude, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm like, I need to like, cause it hurt mentally. Like, I was like, bro, I'm tired of walking on these rocks. I like this is lasting forever. I'm like, I need this to be over. And so, bro, I grab my poles, I close them up, I put them back, and I start running. Like, even though I was tired, bro, I was like, I don't want to be here. Like, I'm tired of being here. And like, after I went through that, I was kind of worried because I was like, I don't want to go back there. Like, so I start running, and like just out of like boredom, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I don't want to be here. Start running, and I pass 10 people like on the way. I basically run into the finish. And it was like that, like it gave me power in my legs, bro. Like just not wanting to be there. Like I end up jogging and like running past literally like 8 or 10 people. So I know I'm climbing like in the rankings a little bit. Not anything crazy, but like pretty cool to pass that many people in the last out of straight boredom. And at that point I was checked out, bro. Like, I was like, I'm ready to go home. You know what I mean? And, yeah, dude, I passed a lot of runners. And then once I got onto the road, still was running a little bit. And then I was like, dude, I'm like 3 miles. Like, and I'm done.
Yeah.
One girl passed me, this runner. And they were moving strong because I just had passed them. So they, like, picked up momentum towards the end. They passed me, finished ahead of me. And dude, when like I saw where we started this race, and we just did this huge 250-mile loop, and I was like, it's almost over. But dude, like usually when I finish a 50-mile race, 100-mile race, like I'm so emotional, like I'm about to cry. This, I was like, I was just not there, bro. Yeah, man, I was I almost wanted to pretend like I was emotional.
No,
but
man.
Bro, I really was like, I'm good, bro. So I crossed the finish line, no tears, no real emotions, just people like clapping, and I'm just like I'm definitely just like, damn. I was like, damn, that sucked. Like, that was tough. And then I just went and sat down, bro. And then like I picked my medal, took my after photo, and had a pizza and hot chocolate, and then I was like, I'm ready to go. But I was just like, it's over, bro. Like, it's over. Like, and when I went back to the U-Haul, I couldn't believe that it had been 5 days. Like, pretty much. Almost 5 days.
5-day race is insane.
I just was like I was just looking around like, you know what I mean?
Your parents were there at the finish line with you? And
Yep. And when I went to pick my belt buckle, they had like a lot, and they had one mystery box. I did the mystery box, and it was a cool buckle. You put it on here.
we'll show you the buckle.
Yeah, they were there, man.
Was your mom crying or anything when you finished, or anything like that?
She wasn't crying, I don't think. She just was proud.
Shout out Mama Epley. That's amazing that they were there for you the whole time, at every checkpoint.
Dude, absolutely, man. I'm lucky they were there for sure. She's always supported my running.
That's absolutely insane.
Yeah, dude, I'm so lucky that my mom and dad were there to like bring that U-Haul, get me what I needed. Because without them, it would be tough. Because some people do it without any crew. Props to them, man. And you can definitely do it without a crew, but like a crew is gonna help by a lot, and pacers.
Because I know it's only like a week out, and or maybe 2 weeks or so now. But would you consider doing it again, or is that like a one-time deal?
I mean, for me, it feels more like a one-time deal. Like I just feel like I would do a different race, you know.
Uh-huh.
But like, you never know. And I mean, now like when you like get out there experience and you know exactly like what the trail looks like.
Yeah.
You're gonna be more prepared. So I believe that if I went back, I could do it better.
Yeah.
But like it was like, shoot, after that last one, I was like, dude, I'm ready to be out of here, bro. Like And I remember that feeling. It just was like, it almost hurt my brain, you know? And I couldn't imagine like being like, oh, I have another night. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, mm-mm. You know what I mean? Like, I was done.
Dude, that's insane, man. Do you feel like a different person after you've finished that? Like, how do you feel like looking back on the first day of your journey, or like your first few runs whenever you started, and from drinking alcohol and doing all that, and then barely picking up running because you wanted to be free, to where you're at now? You just accomplished one of the biggest running ultras that exist. Like, has it hit you yet, like the journey that you've been on?
I feel like, to be honest, I feel like it hit me more initially. Like when I did the first marathon to the 100, like I felt like that it really hit me then. But I feel like in between like the 100 and like 240, it almost like it is a different level. But like I feel like it's like I have like a tolerance to it now. So but I definitely know it's like my mind was like this, like on what I'm my potential, and now it's like just way bigger,
Yeah.
Because like I had that like mindset of that would be impossible, like, because I just could not imagine that. So out of like what I'm capable of as far as pushing my body, like the sky's the limit, is what I believe. Like after I was running on mile 230, that's when I was really like, oh, I can do anything, Because like how I'm running on, like I just climbed 30,000 feet and I'm running after 230 miles. So that's when I was really like we can do anything, Like humans, like our body can take it, dude. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like I'm proud of myself, but like, yeah, I don't know. I have like a little bit of a tolerance. Like it just feels more normal now, like after 4 years, or doing like hundreds. Did 200, now I did 240, and I feel like in all the comments from friends, like just supporting me, like, wow, that's amazing. I've also, like, I just feel like I built like a little bit of a tolerance from that,
Yeah.
Because like when you hear it like so much, like it's kind of like expected at a point, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, definitely like has opened my mind to what we're capable of, like 100%. And also like just day to day, like I hate that sometimes I still like just can doubt myself, or like our minds can work with us or against us, like 100%. Like it kind of just depends on how you think.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Thanks, man.
It's incredible, dude. Oh, man. What a freaking run, dude.
Yeah, dude, it was a journey.
Huge journey. Huge journey.
And it's crazy, like once it's done, dude, it just feels like a blur. I mean, now talking about it, when we talk about it for like 3 hours, it's like, wow, that was a lot to unpack. But yeah, it's like once, like you're in the pain cave and you're like, this is never going to end. But once it's over, like it's like a blur,
Yeah.
You definitely remember it, but it's just a blur.
I can't even imagine doing that. So so if you were to do it again, what kind of training would you do? Kind of better prepare yourself. I think maybe like no sleep and just doing like a 20-mile run at night or something would be kind of.
Yeah, no, definitely would be beneficial. Like just getting used to that.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think climbing more. And like you said, yeah, like practicing sleep deprivation.
I mean, that's
I
what
just
you got to do.
sleep for about a
Yeah.
week. And yeah, just like, yeah, lots of climbing. I think that's like really it, dude.
Ah,
And then just like those little things, like the little things, like when you get to your aid station, like if I had AC at Indian Creek, the shower, the portable shower I had was too small. I was in there like this. Like I would have got like a bigger one that's more sturdy. It was blown away in the wind, and my dad was holding it. Would have had an extra pair of shoes in a bigger size. And of course, like the training, climbing. I know I already said that, but and then of course pacers. Having some pacers would be great.
yeah, I feel like that would help
Like
a lot.
more pacers, yeah.
Maybe next time I'll be your pacer.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Go out there. But all right, man. Well, congratulations, dude. What a freaking race. What inspiration, man. To me, I know to a lot of people, hopefully, people that are watching this, y'all go out and conquer this feat.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just you're an inspiration to a lot of people, man. What an awesome run. And thank you for letting me, ask you questions. It's an honor.
Dude, thank you, man. The setup is awesome. Thanks for making it happen, man. You were quick to jump on it too, dude. So I'm
Something like
grateful
this, man.
I'm grateful to have you as a friend. I'm proud of you. I mean, cause like when we're talking about like my starting journey and like getting into running, like I know how that felt. Like, cause you gotta suffer, man, and you gotta have some courage to like even lace your shoes up.
Yeah.
Like I not only was I like just thinking about all the things like training, my legs hurt, etc. But also I was like, oh, people are gonna see me out in public running. Like that's how anxious and like scared I was. Mm-hmm. And it took courage for me to go out and run. Like even just being scared of people judging me. So like I know it takes courage to get out there and lace your shoes up and start and get started. Especially if you feel like you're just like not like if you feel like you can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's definitely the start. It's definitely the start.
Yeah.
But yeah, just get that ball going. I mean,
Yeah,
who
dude.
knows? I mean, who knows? Wherever that person starts, I mean, you took it all the way. And it's inspiring others. But appreciate Circle, ASICS, and Tiki Cam for letting us use their equipment.
Yeah, shout out to Jack and Tiki Cam for real. Getting these set up, hooking up the podcast, man. We really appreciate it. Yeah, Circle, your water, your way. Helping make drinking water fun, convenient, delicious. Using a flavored sip cartridge. Allows flow, or flavors your water as it passes through the top, but it doesn't get your bottle dirty because it does not mix in there. You get about 120 ounces per flavored sip cartridge, some with vitamin B, caffeine, electrolytes, lots of different options. We have tumblers, these stainless steel bottles, lots of different options, guys, so you should definitely check it out. Of course, ASICS, providing the best performance running footwear. This race did the ASICS Trabuco Max 3, and that was the only shoe that I took on the entire 240-mile journey. So, and these have been pushing Miguel through his half marathons. He did this wore this shoe during a trail. Best shoes out there, man. So shout out to ASICS.
Shout out to ASICS.
Thanks, man. I
Shout out to
appreciate
brother.
you, dude.
Yep.
Thanks for letting me be on the pod.
Yep. Dude, pleasure's mine, man. Let's get it.
Let's go. All right, that was a practice round, right?